All
Okay,
right.
we're trying this again.
Oh yeah,
Trying it again.
it works. It
All
always works. Okay,
Let's see.
I see Caleb Porzio is hosting. Welcome to our live show.
All
Sure.
right.
Yeah,
We back?
awesome. All right, we're
Caleb,
back.
how about this? Why don't you put out a tweet that says what's actually happening? And so delete the Riverside tweet, and then you put out a
Yeah.
tweet that says what's actually happening,
Okay.
and that should be good enough.
Yep. So it tweeted for me. It says welcome to our live show.
Yeah.
Something tweeted for me.
So copy that broadcast link,
Yeah.
and then put out a real tweet with that link, and we'll see if that gets us where we want to be.
Yep. Okay. Delete.
Welcome to our live show. It says everything you need to know right there. It's live, baby. We're live. Nobody cares what we're here to talk about. They care about us. That we are here.
How bad?
We are live.
How bad is my quality? Is it
it's
so
very bad.
bad?
Oh, it
Pretty bad.
depends.
It's not up to the Aaron Francis Studio of Light and Sound
gosh.
quality level.
Okay.
But I think this is
embarrassing.
good because you need to build a mobile studio. This is you got to be able
I
to
do
get
need
on
to build a
air
mobile
at
studio.
any time. Like
Okay.
you can't be
Listen.
constrained by the power grid.
Are you in a minivan?
I brought like a. No, I'm in the Forerunner. I brought a microphone and a stand, and I
Oh,
brought my
sick.
I brought my computer. None of it worked. Absolutely none of it. Couldn't
Dude,
get anything to work.
You gotta have a whole thing in the trunk ready to go. That's just mobile command center.
Listen, I was like, I'll just bring all my cables and we'll see what happens.
Ah, what a
Oh
guy.
boy.
So, Aaron, you look great. You really do.
Thanks.
And I just got to say, I mean, this whole thing is hilarious, and I'm dying laughing over here. As soon as there were multiple moments of me dying laughing off stream or on stream, I'm not sure. But one of them, my favorite one, is Ian going, I go, I don't know how to stream on Twitter, Ian. He goes, give me your password. It's like, this is like pre 1Password era password. This is like, this is the moment where it's like, it would be so much funnier if it was like, I don't know, like Hello Kitty 1, 2, 3.
It's not far off of that though.
Right, it's not that far.
Yeah, I want to hear later what the password is.
Oh my god! I think it's in the public chat. I think in our
you
chat,
can see it
it's
if you
just
look
like,
back, yeah.
what's your password?
Okay.
Okay, don't judge me. I made this when I was 12. Oh, that is the best. That's so funny. Like nobody knows that password, of course, except for all the hackers and MD5 checkers and whatever. But you know.
I love
Hey,
that.
now I gotta look. I can't
now,
touch my phone because I'm afraid
don't
it's all
touch your
gonna
phone.
break. But I'm gonna look on my computer
I
here.
mean, yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Oh,
I could beat Caleb right now. I could tweet as
You could
Caleb
beat
right
me.
now.
Hopefully everything
How
else is
glorious.
1Password, but you know, there's plenty that's not.
You got a
you know.
few that are.
I can't believe
outside.
Twitter is allowing me to just keep
I
that
know.
password. Aaron likes the password.
It's not a great password.
It's not a very secure password.
No, don't say it's not a secure password, Ian. They have,
It's very secure.
They have
It's
half
very
an
secure,
hour.
but it's
to
very, very
freaking hack
bad.
it.
K7 uppercase Z exclamation
Oh.
point.
So we're gonna launch Flux in a few minutes here.
Yes.
What can you say about launching Flux? What can you say? What do you say about a launch? I wish that we could do we should be casting lots on all sorts of outcomes. You know, like
Oh, I like that.
financially. Also, I mean, I wish we could do the just straight financial one. Just be like, you know, what's the sales number? Make it like a some show that does that. But I have one. Will everything be broken? Like, will it work? It's actually a great question. You know,
It's a great question.
You haven't gotten to use it in violence yet, really. I mean, I know you've tested it a lot and everything.
and
but...
I'm like least worried about that. Like, I have this whole freaking custom licensing crazy system with teams and seats and upgrading and crazy stuff. There's so many wheels in motion.
Too much stuff.
Way too much stuff. Like, upon reflection, don't do teams at launch.
Don't do teams.
Definitely don't do teams. Don't connect to APIs for everything,
No
APIs, email stuff and all the stuff. APIs are killing me. Teams are killing me. And just hand rolling everything is killing me. Don't hand roll this stuff. Why
Don't
would you
hand
do
roll
that?
anything. Every time I've ever hand rolled anything, I regret it. I'm going for the next version of HelpSpot website, I'm going so far off that I'm just using a service. I'm just using a website builder service. I'm done with the building thing.
Freaking
Yes.
Wix. Just for...
Yes. Like probably Squarespace or something like that. And I'm just done. What
No,
building it? All
that's
this
crazy.
time we spend, it adds nothing. It makes you no money.
You got to
No
do
money.
everything yourself. You got to do everything yourself.
Everything.
I'm all
Do it
about
all
every
yourself.
single
Super
level.
You're never going to get it
optimization.
right unless you do it yourself. That's
true.
the problem.
This is with a lie I've been telling myself for 20 years. I'm trying to break free. You guys still got like 10, 15 years to go to get to where I am.
Till we're on
Or you
Wix,
can totally-
you know. Till we're
Yeah,
just
until you're on full grandfather website mode. Just like, yeah, we set you up on Wix. You're all set.
What
you
is the
spend
crappiest
months.
website builder right now? Because I don't know if it's still Wix. You know, I just
I
want
think
to
all
make sure
those ones
my,
are actually pretty legit.
like,
You know, I think
right? They
probably
like are good now, right?
yeah, I think like GoDaddy probably has their own. You know, like the
Yeah.
hosting
Mhm.
providers all have their own like out of a box weirdo website builder thing. I think that's
Mhm.
still kind of a thing you get free with your $3 hosting plan on whatever.
Right. Okay.
Forget about that though. All right,
yeah,
so you launch
forget
in
about
Flux, man. That's why you're here.
That's why we're here.
10:30 last night, you were like, how can I come on MT and do it live? And we're like, yes, we will make it happen. Let's do it.
I appreciate you guys for having me. This is great. It occurred to me, like, I like not having an official launch time because then you can launch it the day before, and then like the secret people who find it, then they like break everything, and then you fix
Right.
everything, and you have all night, and it's so much safer. But Josh Hanley was getting in my head. He's like, dude, a launch time, and yeah, so got to do the launch time. Then I was like, oh well, if we're doing the launch time, we got to stream the thing. And it's like, oh, if we're streaming, let me know the first thing about that. Who am I calling? France man, you know?
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the internet
Clearly,
guru.
I've got the whole thing. I got the whole
He's
thing
got it
figured
all
out,
figured out.
obviously.
My-
my
Oh,
goodness,
that's
it's too
great. Who
much.
better
My
to
idiot
host a
friend
live
that lives in
stream
his car. Yeah.
here in Francis? Oh,
All right. So you got
My bad.
4
My
minutes
bad,
to
dog.
launch it, man.
what's that, Ian?
You got 4 minutes to launch.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes
Right?
to
Are
launch.
you still
I'm-
doing 10:30? Are you going to push the button at 10:30, or what's your plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna push the button.
Yeah, tell us.
Like a couple minutes before. Okay, so what do we got to do? Let's look at the checklist here. We got to get the site
Okay.
up. That's the first thing, you know, which I think is PHP Artisan up. I think.
Okay.
And then it's just
Okay.
like looking at Flare and seeing if looking at Flare and refreshing the database to see if like queued jobs are all working and going through.
Right. There's stuff happening.
Yeah, that's a big question mark. It's all a big question
Yep.
mark. And looking at Stripe. And like if there's money in the Stripe thing, then we're good because then I can reconcile
Stripe
all the
bucket.
licensing stuff. But if like so we
Mm-hmm.
gotta, you know, as long as we can take people's money, it's
So
fine.
that's the key thing.
So first thing is
The rest of it is just details, as long as we can take their money.
that's right. Okay, so the convert kit is already scheduled. So 3
Okay.
minutes ago or 2 minutes ago, an email went out to all the pre-order folks with like information on how to upgrade, telling them like give it 5 minutes, then you can go on. And then at 10:30, so in 2.5 minutes is the official launch email. And then I got the launch tweet. I can't schedule tweets. Maybe because
Oh,
can
maybe
you not schedule video
directly?
tweets?
No, you can use Type Fully there or whatever that's called, which I've been using lately, and schedule them. But yeah, I don't know about in Twitter if you can directly schedule a tweet. So
Okay.
you might have to do that one.
There's like a
live.
calendar icon that's grayed out like on
Is
the
there?
composed tweet thing. And I was like, this looks
Mm.
like something that should work. But anyway, so
doesn't.
it's in a tab.
I have your Twitter password. If you want me to tweet anything, you can
Would
just
you
tell
like
me, and
to
I'll
make a
just
tweet at
remember.
you?
I'll just remember to do it. Yeah.
Dude, I'm just gonna text you what I need tweeted. Okay, so then we tweet. Oh, and then last night I remembered that I should put stuff on the Livewire docs. So I have like a docs banner and like a little sidebar item that says UI components. So we got to deploy that. And deployment around these parts is SSH and git pull. So nothing can go wrong, and it's gonna be fast, so fast. There's not
Are
gonna.
you
be
going to
any
share
waiting
screen?
around.
Do you want to share screen for any of this, or are you
I
not
don't
set up
think
for
so.
that? I didn't know.
Maybe.
I don't know if you want to share your
No.
password with everybody else. Maybe I don't know.
Right. I don't know what is visible on my screen. Like
Okay.
Daniel at didn't Daniel do something at Laracon? I just remember looking at Daniel's Laracon talk, being in the audience and being like just scanning for like keys and like what am I going to tell him to immediately edit out of this talk? Like okay, so
He revealed every participant's email address, which I told him was a violation of GDPR, but he didn't seem to care.
Right. And yeah, the email addresses and like client projects in the folders. Sorry for blowing you up, Daniel. All right, I'm doing artisan PHP artisan up. Okay.
All right,
So
stuff's happening.
somebody test it out.
Where should I look?
Can you guys go to fluxui.dev? Is this thing up?
Let's do it.
So that's the up.
Okay.
Let's
It
deploy
looks- We got your talk.
the Livewire site. Okay.
Get started.
So you can see the site. Yeah.
I can see
Got-
the site in general, yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh, we're losing
Oh.
Aaron.
Aaron, you're a robot.
Pricing is working, it looks like.
Okay.
Some stuff, something seems weird, but I'm not sure if it's you or me. It might be me streaming.
Something seems weird.
Oh, you know what? I think maybe
NPM
is
run
it
build.
not possible to drop down that team. Oh, it's working now. I know. I think my browser is being a little weird from streaming and this. So yeah, I think we're okay.
Who knows? And this is just like a DigitalOcean droplet, just got a
Ooh.
droplet going. We got a little MySQL database on there. We got database queue driver going. All right.
I don't know if Aaron can see it. It seems a little slow for me, but
Ian, I can't see a freaking thing. I can't do anything over here. I'm flying blind.
Literally.
I tried to load it, and then Riverside said reconnecting because everything's on my cell Wi-Fi, so I'm kind of hosed here.
Okay, it is confirmed.
Everything's
the site
going
is
to
very
plan.
slow.
Okay,
Says
it's not just
Jason
me.
Beggs.
All right.
No, freaking Jason. Jason should just fix it. Why is he complaining? He should just fix it.
Jason, fix it.
Yeah.
What do we do about that? I don't think we could do anything about that.
What size droplet do we have? Tell me you didn't do some little 1 GB droplet.
No,
Just tell me
maybe
you
2
didn't.
gigabytes. I
Oh,
don't know.
come on, you're killing me.
Caleb, you gotta believe in yourself,
You
man.
gotta do the dedicated CPU, and you gotta do like an 8 just for launch day.
Dude,
Get into there right now and up the size of that thing.
is that how that works?
Is it the
Can I
same
just do that?
password? I could go
Hey,
go in
do
there
it.
with the same
There
password.
are 2
No,
jobs.
it's all the same.
There are 2. Yeah, it's all-
I use 1 password, sure. Meanwhile, we can log into the whole internet with Caleb's password.
Caleb literally means he uses 1 password. It's the
Right,
same
yeah.
password everywhere.
It's
He
just
keeps that one in one password. Like,
password. Would you guys mind sizing up my droplet? Can't fix it because Caleb comes up with dumb deployment strategies like SSH and git pull, says Jason Beggs. Oh,
also,
People
it sounds
on
like
stream agree.
pre-order
Hey.
people can't log in
oh.
or something along those lines. I don't know if that's confirmed. I got Dave, producer Dave, is also helping us out behind the scenes. That's a report from producer Dave that the people on the internet are saying.
Okay, we
So,
appreciate it, producer Dave. All right, time to check Stripe.
Yeah, let's do one thing at a time.
Yeah. Let's just see
The
the
only,
money.
the only thing that matters. Yeah.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think you should
right.
go to Stripe. I think you should go to DigitalOcean and get a bigger droplet. That
Wait,
would
so
be the
if I
first.
do that, I mean, is that not stupid? Am I gonna like ruin everything?
No,
I mean-
you're gonna have to rebuild it with Forge. That's gonna take. Well, no, I guess you could just
Just
size
the
it up,
droplet
right?
Size? Yeah.
I'm
in
gonna go to
you
DigitalOcean.
can
We'll
just
start
up
with
the
that.
Go to
droplet size.
DigitalOcean. Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna go down for a minute while it reboots. Or
We're doing it
moves you,
live.
but,
You
like,
know, what's
we'll do it live.
it's basically down anyway. So like we gotta get to
Is
the
it
part
really
where we're
that
not
bad?
down.
Oh, it's for real crazy slow. That's what Jason Begg says. All right,
Yeah,
let me.
it's like
Ian,
non-functional
what's
right
the
now. So
password
it's
again?
it's down.
How do I get into DigitalOcean? Oh.
Hey, we're having fun, aren't we? We're having fun.
All right, DigitalOcean verification code. I'm gonna read it out. Okay.
Yeah, just
1,
tell it to
2,
me, and I'll
3.
text it to you.
Oh, Caleb side. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go to, dude. Okay, Flux. Okay. Yep. Okay. CPU.
Yes.
100%.
Do it.
100%
good-
right now.
Yeah, a
Full-
good note.
This is a pretty simple like Laravel app. I didn't think that.
Patricio
what
said this, and I was going to say this too. Don't
Yeah.
change the disk size.
Right, no,
then
I
you
know
can go back
that.
down.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so I'm gonna say, what is upsize droplet the thing to do?
Yeah,
I'm gonna-
upsize. Let's
Yeah.
upsize it. We want
Up,
to supersize.
yes.
All right, we're gonna
Give us
resize
a
not
full
down. You want
honky
Just
stick.
CPU and RAM only. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. We're at right now 2 CPUs, 4 gigabytes memory.
But it could be those shared CPUs.
It's not
They
so
have different
bad.
Plans, but yeah, I would go to big. Go really
I could
big.
just bump it up. So what?
Yeah.
What
You
do
got
we
the
need
money.
though? So I don't even know.
You've got the money.
What do
I would go big.
What do
What's
I
the,
put
what
us
are the
on?
options?
What's big?
don't know.
All right, like here are the options. So
24?
it's graying out like a bunch of stuff, but so for $65 a month, I can get 4 CPUs with 8 gigs.
God, that's not enough.
There's also a bunch of like cheaper 4 CPUs, but they're regular Intel. It's like, what do you want? The regular Intel, the premium AMD, the premium Intel?
Just slide that thing to the right till it breaks off, man. That's
Oh,
what
I
you
think
gotta
it's just
do.
all
harder
the
to
way. You're-
downsize them though, right?
You're just
You
gonna
can
run
always
it for
rebuild the
one
site
day.
later. Yeah, this is a one day. It doesn't matter. You just want to make sure everybody who goes there today
doing
has
it.
a good experience.
Are we getting 8 CPUs?
Oh, at least 8
Premium
minimum.
Intel.
At least.
At least.
I don't
Right,
know
why
if we
not?
need to mess with the Nginx stuff, but hopefully not. Hopefully it'll just be.
You
faster.
probably want to put the site in
Child
maintenance mode so
processes,
the queues don't
All
die.
right. Let
right?
me just make sure that Flux UI.dev is still the slowest thing in the world. And yeah, it is. The whole thing's, well, yeah, I don't know. What's the cost here? Let me
Let's
just
see.
refresh Stripe again.
It's taking about 5 seconds per load. It is faster
Yeah,
than it
like-
was, but that's because people are leaving, which is not good. So I would like.
Okay. You got to do something about it or you're going to slow down sales big time. Okay. Takes like 5 seconds for each click. All right. Let's I'm
Size it up, baby.
I'm gonna size it up. Okay.
Yeah.
So I click on the
I
new
think you
thing,
can't go wrong with sizing it up.
and then how do you hit resize again? You need to power it down first. All right. PHP Artisan down. Who knows what that now diff for humans is gonna say?
Nobody knows what that does.
Yeah.
All right. PHP Artisan down. It's in maintenance mode. So now I'm going to turn off the droplet. Let's see how long a quick little resize takes. Can't take long.
Nah, it should be very fast.
Okay, I should probably tweet about this as well.
I would say this is all very good in terms of your prospects for selling some fluxes.
Resizing.
Great
the
content too. We love great
droplet.
content.
Hang on.
This is going to be amazing as a podcast people are just listening to.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the-
This may be a
guys
live
gotta-
only show.
I
keep
think
the
they're
balloon
refreshing.
afloat.
They're refreshing again. It's
Okay,
great.
I turned it off, and now it's allowing me to resize. I'm going to do $120 a month, and we're going premium Intel resize. Premium.
It's $4 for today.
All right, I hit
Just give us
resize.
the month.
What could go wrong? The database will still be fine, probably, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
I
death
mean,
the
what are you
disk.
even putting in the database? I mean, I'm curious what you're even putting in the database. What's going on in the database?
What database stuff?
Just the users, I guess. Just like
Rose
So-
and
Rose.
Collins. Yeah,
I don't know
come
how
on.
databases work. I gotta watch some of Aaron's videos, so I know what the
Oh
hell.
my God, this
Who
guy's
do you
been in
put
the
in a
business forever. He doesn't know that it goes in a database.
Oh.
At least Aaron has his tea, which I manned up enough and listened to your tea episode. I ordered a
Droplet
little
has been
bit of tea.
resized.
Oh, see, look
I
at
turn
that.
it on. What could go wrong?
You turn it on. Nothing. Nothing can go
it's gonna be
wrong.
blazing fast. Watch, it's some other stupid
Yes.
thing that
No,
SSH.
Just as long as it's not Torchlight, I don't really care what's slowing
I
it
need
down.
more power.
Okay, can't connect. System's booting up. It's a good sign.
It's good.
It's a good sign. Okay.
Good sign.
Alrighty, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Watch the
servers
live
are
stream.
cheap at this rate comparatively. Like, why do I mess around with these tiny servers?
I don't know. Never mess
Do you
around
guys
with
mess
That's what
around
I'm.
with tiny
That's what we're.
servers?
That's what we're asking you.
No.
I know.
No, I
but
never
like,
mess around with
isn't
tiny
that the
servers.
thing? Like, you just pay $20 a month and you make $1 zillion on $20 a month. That's like the
Yeah.
way, right?
Don't,
No.
you gotta over provision.
No,
always.
this is
Yeah,
this is truly
right.
multi-tackle. No, what? No. Okay, you ready for this?
All right.
CD Flux
Yeah.
UI PHP Artisan
I mean, it's already up.
up. Oh, it's up.
It's
there
just,
you go.
I mean, not you need to take it out of maintenance mode, but it's like,
Okay,
live.
if I
There we go.
access it,
Oh yeah, look at it. I can click around.
Is it screaming fast?
Things are moving.
maybe it's just because I have like some ridiculous like memory leaks. And oh, you know what I did? This might have been dumb. I put the
Got
queue worker to
fancy stuff.
5 processes. Is that stupid? I don't know anything
it
about
should be fine.
servers. I was just like,
think
yeah,
that would be
5
right.
processes.
How much stuff
sure.
could be in the queue? I mean, what do you putting in your queues?
Yeah, what are you
That's
doing
what
in
I
the
wanna
queue?
know. No, I'm
I mean,
doing
come
the
on.
okay, so right, let's get into the details here.
All
A
right.
queue, when you purchase, you get an order,
Mhm.
and then I queue a job to create a
Mhm.
license for you on any stack, which is Philo's like software licensing. He handles
Oh,
all the
right.
composer authentication stuff. So create a job to create a license over the API and store that in the database. That's the queue.
Okay. Gotcha.
Um,
So that shouldn't
So-
be too. I mean, hopefully it's busy, but I mean, there should only be so much stuff in there. I mean,
Yeah, that should be
I
fine.
probably
Five
don't.
should be fine.
Okay, 5 is fine. It's 5 plus 1 because I just added the one with 5.
So that
Folks
would-
are
that would
saying
be
it's so
6.
fast now. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what
see?
producer Dave says.
Everybody's
Awesome,
happy
thanks.
now.
Okay, that's why we do it live. Sick. I just need to upgrade all my
Everybody's
servers to $1 million.
learning.
We got to go. We got to cloud exit. We should cloud exit on this stream right
Yeah.
now.
That's a good thing to
Go
do
right
right
Taking
now.
it in-house.
We're gonna get a rack server. We're gonna send Aaron in his car to go pick up a rack server. There's a big data center there in Dallas that he can
Yep.
rack it up in.
We'll do it
We're
live.
gonna
It
have a
doesn't
live
currently
wire
have
stuff
power, but it will have
Yeah.
power at some point soon.
Okay, so let's see. I can see. I don't want to tell you the amount of money coming in live, but how do I like? We need.
Are we rich?
We need something here.
Okay.
I'm going to private message you guys the amount, and then you can just
Okay.
react. Okay.
We'll say.
That's what's
this
gonna
is
happen.
Interesting. Yeah. People are very
Where am I
happy
going to look?
to
I can't look on my phone. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up the
people
connection.
Don't touch anything. Okay, you ready? Here we
People
go.
are very
Right?
happy. Okay.
What do you think of
That
that?
is very nice.
Okay, pretty good.
Where are we at?
Pretty good.
I think
Pretty
we're very
good.
happy.
We're
I'd be very
happy.
I mean, the site
pretty
wasn't
happy.
functional.
Right.
So from a
Imagine if it
this
were.
Yeah.
functional website, I think pretty good. And it's so funny because like between the way you know the launch hiccups.
Oh, I didn't
initially,
tweet.
and
Sorry,
then,
I gotta hit tweet.
oh, tweet. And then you took down
I can do
the
it for you.
pre-order for 2 weeks, which is totally insane. And then this website didn't work. You're doing pretty well. Like I think it's all going better.
This
If you just said all those things and then you said how much money you made to somebody, they would be like, "That doesn't
Like,
sound right."
shut up.
Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
everything's
I
gone
think-
horribly wrong, but you're still doing all right.
Okay, so now everybody, listening to this, you can go retweet that thing if you want. If you want to be a real bro,
Retweet.
you can hit that retweet. I should pin this tweet. All right, we're gonna pin this tweet. Yeah, let me pin this. Yep, pin to profile. Adam is the puppet master behind any of this. He's like, I'm just like literally minutes before this call, like, Adam, what do I write in this tweet? Adam, should I put this image in here? Where should I put this thing? What link should I put in here, Adam?
He's your
What server size should I use, Adam?
Adam.
Yeah, that would have been a good one to ask him.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, like you said, Aaron, it makes for good content. This is anti-marketing. You just flub everything up all the time, and everybody can't help but stare at the dumpster fire.
All right, so hold on now. Somebody just had a good question, and I feel like you should answer this before we go any farther. Is
Okay.
they want to know what we're launching. So there's
Oh.
going to be people in here who don't know what we're launching.
Oh, that's
So
so
we
Oh,
should
funny.
shoot.
probably tell them what we're
Where?
launching.
Yeah. Where was Adam on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Adam is messaging me saying you should tell them what you're launching. Just kidding. Okay, so what are we launching? Flux UI. It's a UI component library for Livewire. If you use Livewire, then you are wrestling with building components yourself. And oh, we got a hand raise. Can I get another hand raise? I don't know if Aaron raises his hand, but Ian's refusing to.
Oh,
raise his hand.
maybe he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thumbs
Okay.
up.
So yeah, so it's basically you just plop in Flux, and now you got your modals, your drop downs, your tabs, your whatever, everything, and it's like also kind of a design system. There's layouts and everything, and badges, buttons, typography. It's Shad CN for Livewire. Basically, is the best way to put it. Yeah, so I don't know. It's been a long time in the make. This is something that people. It was like the first thing that anybody ever asked me to do beyond Livewire. Obviously, is like
Right.
we need components, and for so long, and I just knew it's one of those things. Like this is a massive giant thing that you can do like really poorly or insanely well, and the difference between those two things is like years, And I wanted to do the really well thing, so basically, kind of took the year to do it. And then we got Hugo involved. Shout out to Hugo. Thank you, Hugo. He's watching right now because he's DMing me. Hugo, we love Hugo. He elevated everything. The design is just incredible, and it's so nice. And he's just the best. So everything looks good because of Hugo. And he kind of like, I had a lot of experience building like UI components from Headless Alpine. So like, there's been iterations of Alpine components. But basically, at one point, I decided to make Headless UI. Like Tailwind's thing, make that in Alpine. And I did, and I mirrored the API almost exactly. I scoured every line of their code. I talked to like Rob and like people on their team, like making sure that there's like parity. And that was really the boot camp. And that took like a year before this. And that was the boot camp of like, oh, learning about all the ARIA patterns and best practices and keyboard stuff and performance stuff and just how deep it goes and how freaking complicated it is. And every component, you're like, okay, I just got through I got through the popover. Like, okay, disclosure, that's going to be an easy one. This one's going to be easy. And then you're like, everything is so hard. So anyway, I didn't really use that code, but I used all that experience to build like a really robust JavaScript core under Flux that I think is, whatever, it's launching today. It's probably going to have bugs, but it's like super robust and is going to be a good kind of starting point for, really the non-React world, basically. And that's kind of a long-term vision is I want to take that core and unearth it for other ecosystems. Because I think it's like the missing web primitives, like really easy tabs, custom selects, menus, like whatever stuff. So that's Flux. You guys didn't know that.
So
now
good.
you know.
I didn't know that. That's really helpful. That gives a lot of context to what we're doing here
Like,
today.
Wow. So that's
If I had known all of
is.
that, I maybe would have set up in the studio. Shoot, my bad.
That was literally the first thing I asked you for. I was like, man, we need components, dude. Like this is like years ago, like you said, it's like everybody wanted the component. It's like who wants to go to React for this stuff? Especially like maybe you have these trade-offs and like you're some huge company and you have a huge product, you're like, we want to use React, fine, whatever. But for if you're smaller, if you're us, even if you're bigger and you don't want the headache, it's like we just want to stay in PHP with a little sprinkle of JavaScript. That's what we want. And there's not really much out there like that, and nothing of this quality, obviously. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. And it's one of the, this is one of those things. It's like, well, once you build it, you go, now it's like, oh, well, nobody should ever build this ever, like,
right. This is why it doesn't exist already.
Yeah. And like, why was I was such a fool ever building an app without something like, what was I doing making these apps that don't work?
Right.
They just don't work. Not only do they not look good, they don't even work. So anyway, so that's Flux. It's been quite the journey. All right, it's time to give you guys the price update so you can give your reactions on live. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to share these numbers publicly? Are you saving for a big reveal?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about sharing numbers.
I don't
publicly.
know. I don't know. You're the $1 million GitHub sponsor guy, so I don't know. It's out there.
It's true. It's out there in the ether.
I make millions on GitHub. Over
One
a long
single
period.
million.
I make 1 single million spread out over 5 years of grueling labor, minus taxes.
I wonder if you're the biggest like GitHub donation guy. How many people can be making more than 1 million? Not many.
I am. I don't know if they're authorized to tell me that, but they either maybe told me that or I've seen how at one point I saw their volume like a year ago or something, like just how much volume they did. And I'm like a fairly decent portion of that.
Right.
Again, I don't know what to say, but I'm pretty sure I'm the biggest individual sponsor. Maybe less so now, because it is like I'm kind of branching out into other things. But
that was your thing, because you pushed your products through it, basically. Like that's how people bought your product.
Yeah, it was like my payment processor.
Yeah, it was like a hack on your payment processing.
And I thought it was a hack, and I like reached out to them super early on, and I was like, "Here's what I want to do, but I want to be totally above board about it because I don't want to get shut down or anything." And I honestly thought that they would be like, "Man, like that's kind of an abuse of the spirit of what we're after." Right. And they were like, that's exactly what we want everybody to do. Do it. And then let's tell everybody about it and like restructure the whole like GitHub sponsors system to have more features that are related to that. So then they added like, pay gated repos to emulate like sponsorware, a bunch of stuff like that. So yeah, isn't that crazy? I was really surprised. It's like, you guys, that's cool. I don't know. I thought I would be poo-pooed on that, but
yeah, that's really cool.
So yeah.
All right. So I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
Related to the money, we don't have to get into the details. Have you sold any teams yet? Because I was a little negative on the team.
We gotta know about the teams. You were. I think the teams thing is killer. I don't.
Not teams in general. This like the way it's structured in this isn't my favorite.
Well, then we should talk about this.
To see if you have any.
Did we talk about this, Ian? Because I feel like
we did talk about it, but it might have just been you and me.
Some, maybe you just kept this to yourself.
No, maybe I did.
How do I find like?
No, I think we talked about it a little bit.
I don't know how to do this. How do I find a sale on a
Stripe
team?
is so bad now, dude. I can't find anything.
I'm gonna
there. Like,
open
it's
all
impossible.
the team products.
It's like, yeah, you have
There's-
to go to the team products, and then you have to like, there's some weird top tab with like the report or something. It's like there's not just like, oh, I want to see how many of each SKU I sold. Like the most obvious thing everybody would want. No, there's no way to see it. Like,
Right.
there is a way, but it's weird.
Yeah. So I'm clicking into each price.
Maybe in your database.
Oh, okay. I can see it. All right. So the first team tier, 1 to 5 seats, 2 active subscriptions. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not hopeful that it's going to go up from there. We have 0 on all the other ones. But this, I sort of anticipated that no like team is going to go pounce at launch, right? Like it's not like there's not really a team discount,
right? You didn't discount it. Yeah.
The team is like a long-term sustainable, like
build
businesses using this thing. I don't really anticipate them being like insta buy this. I really kind of pushed all the marketing and all the pricing for just individuals to just no brainer insta buy. I'll buy this so that I just have it whenever I want it.
Oh man,
Ian, what's your problem with the team layout?
Let's talk teams.
You don't like it?
I got
today's a good day to revamp the whole thing. So what's your problem with it, Ian?
Ian to poop on your whole pricing scheme during the launch. Like, I don't know.
Congrats on the launch or whatever.
Right. Ooh, nice update there, Caleb. So, well, all right. On the teams, I just think I'm like, Caleb knows this, right? Like, I'm big on this type of product being no brainer. Just no brainer, just no thought. Like, it's so obvious, I must buy it. And I just feel like it's so clear with the other tiers. Like, it's absolutely no brainer. You're totally insane if you don't buy this.
Yeah.
But the teams, I think, and it's not because of the money. It's because it's like the way it's structured now is you have to like literally put in all your developers, and then you have to maintain that. And then, like, what does that even mean? Like, if I'm Disney, who uses Laravel, is it all 500 developers who work at Disney? Is that what that means? Is it only the ones who use this product? Like, you get into all these weird edge cases. You get into a lot of like, this is a maintenance thing for me, that every time I hire or fire a developer, I have to go and update Flux, that thing I haven't touched in 3 years, like, because it's just in there working at some point, right? Like, so there's a lot of overhead and approvals and things like that. Whereas if it was just $9.99 for your team, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm not even gonna think about it, and it's already bought.
So
that's, I guess, my
two things, Ian, here.
Yeah.
Well, 3 things. First thing, you could totally be right. There's a good chance that you're right. Better chance that you're right. But here's where you're wrong, Ian.
Give it to me.
So I talked to one person who's a part of a team, and they were like, yeah, nobody does the whole, like, I think you care a lot more about legality and stuff like that than a lot of these kind of small teams that are just like, we just buy the license and it's fine. Like, we all password share stuff. We have company GitHub accounts. Like, they were just kind of like, here's the inside scoop. Nobody does the official, thing. So I think there's that. And I've experienced that on a lot of my personal stuff when team pricing is just a licensing thing where it's like, you don't get anything extra. It's not like a functional tier. It's just like a licensing legal tier. And I don't get a lot of traction on that. So this is my hook that won't come into play right now. But the idea is the code snippets and maybe future templates and things are hidden behind a paywall, because like you can't use the thing if you don't have a license anyway. So it's not like I'm paywalling something that shouldn't be paywalled. It's like I'm going to make some there for advertisement public so people can see what the code looks like. But if you're a working developer, I don't care if you're Disney and you have 500 devs. All I care about is like, give me the amount of money for how many people you need to be in this app all the time copying code snippets and working. It's not like, I probably should modify the like license or whatever to maybe express that. I don't know. But for me, it's like, this is my first functional team situation where it's like, you can hit copy invite link. It's like using Tuple or something, like real people getting value out of an actual app that they need access to. So they go to their boss and they go, hey, give me access or get me on this team thing or whatever. That's kind of the idea, as opposed to just like on your honor, What do you think? Does it change anything?
I don't love it. But I don't think it works that way. I don't think this is like that. At some point, like if I build my whole app on this, I'm not going to need to go to the docs anyway. Because I'm just going to like, it's annoying. I go to the doc site. I can't see what I need to see. I'm just going to copy the code from the 1,000 other places that I now reference the Flux input. And I don't know. It creates a lot of friction.
So if you're at that point, you just cancel your subscription or whatever. You get like you can install it in perpetuity. You just can't like get new
Right.
stuff, you know? So if
Well, yeah.
if you're in like the ride it out phase, like you have it and you can just have it and use it. But if you're actively working on an app, you're going to be going to the docs. Like you're going to be building stuff and you're going
I'm
to be
just saying,
in it, you know?
think about the way I think about it is more like this.
Yeah.
The amount of money, if we're trying to make the most money,
Okay.
right? That's
Sure.
the goal, presumably.
Yeah, let's
Always.
just pretend.
How
For
much? Let's
purposes
pretend
right
that's
here.
the most.
Yeah,
let's
that's
pretend
sorry.
what we're trying to do.
Okay.
I
Thought
forgot.
experiment.
I dropped the facade. Yeah. What
Right.
if?
So
What if?
I just think that this is not a thing. It's not an app that people are actually in all day, right? So then it's like, and
Yeah.
that's the at
I
some
don't
point
know.
it's not that.
Yeah.
Maybe in the very beginning when I'm building out or whatever, right? But like, so how do I get the most money? And I just feel like the most money is making teams $9.99. It could even be $9.99 a year. Like if you just want to have the subscription aspect,
Yeah.
maybe that's something with that, right? But it's not like assign your devs. We're not hiding the dot. It's like this
Yeah.
is the legality. Is
just think
if you
nobody
have-
would buy
if you're
it.
more than one user. But I think nobody's buying it already.
Dude, I got
You
two
have
people
two out of
buying
all
it.
these sales.
Yeah.
I know,
Well,
but that's only
excuse
two.
me. Yeah.
That's only two on the 1 to 5 level. I'm saying you
I-
want to get these teams who are like, yeah, we have 20 devs. Oh, great. I give Caleb $1,000. I don't have to think about this problem ever again.
Yeah.
Versus like, I mean, now it's not even
that's what you're-
$1,000, right? 10 to 20 is only $700. I'm
Yeah, but
saying
you
I
do
think you could charge
21
more and make it a no-brainer.
Yeah. Possibly. You're probably right. Should we change it? Are
I
we
don't
doing
know if
this?
you should do that. I think you should think
No.
about it.
Are we
I
changing
think we
it
should
right
just think about it. You should.
Should
It's already out
Should
there.
I
Let's just see if
downsize
it
the
works.
droplet?
The one other thing is one
Don't
other
do
thing-
anything.
One other little thing about just the team
wait.
concept.
I'm so sorry,
Hold on.
Ian. Really
Yeah.
quick. Aaron just said, don't do anything. We need to there's like Aaron, like, do literally anything. Don't do anything.
Don't do
this is anti-Aaron.
anything.
This is
I don't
Aaron
think you should
after
touch
dark.
it right now.
He's
Yeah, I
like,
don't think you should.
you
touch it
literally you
at the-
can't do
at the
things.
moment.
You can't just do things.
I don't think I've ever
Okay.
heard him say that. This is fascinating. Yeah, it's
Ian,
excellent of you
continue.
to point this out.
It had to be pointed out.
The other thing is, I would just say in terms of if you want to push the team sales, is this pricing page, like the unlimited version doesn't say anything about it being for only one dev. So like,
Right.
you
I
might be
just
having a lot of people buy the
changed that.
unlimited and
You're
they're like,
right.
oh, I bought the unlimited. That's unlimited, but it's actually not unlimited. It's only unlimited for one dev, I think, right? That's the idea.
I changed the
So-
wording from I used to have I had a toggle that was solo dev and team. And then we dissolved the toggle and now there's no verbiage that says solo dev at all.
Right.
Um,
So I can see people just being like, oh, I'm just buying the unlimited. Like that's the one that's called out. It's the one that's unlimited.
Right.
I think I'm
I think I have
that's the one I should buy.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's a good
might
note.
just
Alright,
be a
I'm gonna
team
go- I'm gonna
version,
go
gives
look
you
at the
templates
website.
or whatever.
So if you
Aaron's
lose
bad.
me,
Looking at
the
it's
website.
because I'm tethering too much off of my phone. But I want to go
Yeah,
look
you
at this
get- we
website.
need to
we you
upsize your
hooked
phone.
in. But
I
I
would
do
love that.
really, I think you made a smart move there, Caleb, on like what you did with the pricing in the email you sent and like make it's unlimited, it's free updates. We're launching with this, like come buy it. Like again, super no brainer.
Yeah.
I feel like that's being reflected in your sales and like it's just an obvious thing that everybody's going to want to use. And I think also there's all the other use cases like, you know, I would buy this if I only need to use I guess that's the thing. There's just the more no brainer is, the more I'm willing to buy it for stupid reasons. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I need 2 of the components, right? I'm doing a thing with a date picker. I want to use Caleb's date picker. I don't know if there's a date picker
Ooh,
in it
come
yet, but you know
on,
what I'm saying.
Bad marketing.
it's not
Ian.
doing-
It's on the roadmap.
it's on the
Wait,
roadmap.
wait.
A year from now,
We-
when I need
we-
a date picker,
We have input type date.
yes.
So-
right. So you have that, but like whatever. I need whatever, whatever's in there. And
Yes.
but I'm only going to use 2. I'm not rebuilding my whole product. I'm just building and adding a feature to HelpSpot, and I'd like
Yeah.
to use these 2 components, right? So, the easier it is for me to buy it and just be like, yeah, I'm throwing it into this thing to use 2 components versus like feeling like I'm waiting for the big new thing, whatever. It's like, great, it's unlimited. It's like, not for me, it's not, but in theory, it's unlimited for a solo dev person, and you can just buy it and that's it. And you can just use it for whatever you want. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's something I didn't like put an emphasis on that at all because there's just like too much to figure out and where to put emphasis and whatever. But like,
Yeah.
yes, from what I heard, the way I see it is totally like the drop down menu alone, which by the way is open source, so you don't actually have to buy Flux for the drop down menu. But just take the drop down menu, rip out the styles, conform them to
Right.
your own app,
Just do your own thing. Yeah.
and then now you just have a good drop down component in your existing, setup, and do that
Yep.
with any one of them. Take the modal and just take that. And there's even ones that aren't even like have no head, that aren't styled at all. Like you could take the context component with your own button and your own popover, and then you have like right clicks that are completely your own thing. So
Right.
anyway, yeah,
Or
there's a
even
lot of
Toast, which has like a front, obviously, but is still like sort of a thing. I might just drop
Right.
Toast into my existing app, right? Which don't have Toast or have crappy Toasts or whatever. All that kind of stuff.
Can I call a timeout? Caleb,
Timeout,
I'm getting
yeah.
reports. I'm
What?
not getting
No.
reports, which is great. I'm not getting reports. You're getting reports of 500 errors on.
Ooh.
Let me see. Clicked licenses to pay 500 error. I'm looking at Twitter chat. It's nice to be online. I love being online. I
There you go.
feel like
You're
I'm
back
alive
on
Twitter
again.
chat 500.
Yeah.
Open Flare. Ian, can you
Also,
can you keep talking to yourself?
Oh,
or
yeah,
something?
I will
wait,
keep talking.
also, is possible you're issuing 2 license codes for every one purchase?
It's probable.
It's probable. So if anywhere that you
Oh.
have an n equals 2, go change it to n equals 1 because they just need 1 code per purchase. So
that happened in local, and it like didn't happen again. And I thought that I was.
I hate when that happens.
Shoot!
I hate when that happens.
Why does that happen?
Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
The other thing I like, I'll just keep talking while you
Yeah.
look at that, is about the other thing I like about about the idea of I'm only using a handful of these components and people are willing to pay for that, is that there's so many more existing apps than new apps, right? There's only ever so many new apps. So the more this feels like a thing where I can just take a couple components and pop them into my existing app, and now I have a really nice whatever that's accessible and works great. Like that's, again, it's not a lot of money. I'm going to just buy it and not butts around with figuring out the open source, the 84 open source ones that are all terrible, or building my own, of course, which is going to be way more than however much you pay for Flex, even on a team plan. So
should have been called.
I like the idea of leaning into that. These components can be used individually.
It's called Flux, Ian. Flux with a U.
I said Flux.
I said it should have been called Flex.
You said Flex.
No, Flux.
What? I said Flux.
We have to go back to the videotape on that.
Okay,
Man,
go on,
did I
Ian.
say
Yes,
Flex?
it should have been called Flex. Continue.
That would have been cool. No, that would have been confusing. I like Flux.
Go on.
No, that was all I had. Now I'm done talking.
Yes.
All right.
So the marketing
Caleb,
thing,
Yeah. Are you still looking for 500 errors? Do you need me to vamp?
I mean, like what? Like these are things that I could investigate right now, but I think it would be the kind of like dropping out of this call, and I think I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
We'll let the dust settle. I'll catch it all. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
okay. If you got 2
people are
license code,
buying,
you're
so-
good. If
Right,
you
you're
got a
good.
500, refresh, try a new email. I don't know. maybe you could give them my password. They could go in, turn debug on, change app debug to true, then help me out. But I don't
We
see
kinda
anything obvious in Flare that's like that
We
that
can
says
assure
there's a
people-
super bad problem.
Yeah, that many people are buying.
Yeah.
So it's definitely possible and generally working.
Mhm.
We might need, if you might have an individual issue that you got to do the try
Yeah.
again.
We're sorry about that, folks.
Oh man,
We
some
can only
people are
do so
wishing they
much
got 2
live. We
keys,
can only
so.
yeah,
full on
everybody's getting 2
debugging.
keys.
You're not ready for
people-
that. You have to be prepared to share your desktop in that scenario.
Yeah, true. People wouldn't be being charged twice, right? Like that is something I should freaking
Well,
make
that's
sure
something
about.
you might want to look at quickly.
mean,
You can
no,
just
there
check
might-
that in
check
Stripe.
that.
I only
there'll be one
see-
after the other in Stripe. So
Yeah, no.
I got a DM with a potential possibility that you'll have to look into later. Sebastian from Beyond Code says Stripe sends webhooks at least once, and you might be getting them.
Yeah, it's probably just retrying webhooks and maybe. But I thought I made them idempotent.
Potentially.
Stripe even gives you an idempotency key to just make it really easy, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to say idempotency.
who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't love that? All right, I'm going to go to Stripe real quick. give a quick check on this webhook situation, make sure that they're green, man. Sebastian said, what did he say about webhooks? Did they fire it twice for fun?
It possibly could have fired twice when your site was down for the resize. So maybe it was just those.
That's pretty weird. Stripe is firing webhooks randomly twice. Dang it. Okay.
Eventually consistent or something like that.
Maybe because
something distributed.
Like slow, and then they're like, well, we'll try this while we're waiting. We'll try again or something.
Yeah, maybe it was just when the server was messed up that it was slow responding, and so then it was refiring after 5 seconds. Or
maybe
it was like 30 seconds there.
Really recent, and it's not every time, but there's definitely like some checkout session. Like here's one checkout session completed. It's literally the exact same timestamp. It's a different event ID, but I wonder if it's like the same customer. I don't know. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Sorry if there's something wrong, but it's clearly like fairly isolated. So, Ian, let me respond to your thing. Actually,
do it.
But that's something that I didn't bother communicating. Is like, hey, just because it also feels like, okay, stop with the reasons that I need to get this or I'm really stupid. It's like, yeah, like you can just there's so many ways to just use Flux and not even use the design or not even use like any part of it, not use it as a design system, but just use it as like good UI primitives for your app. So that's a whole other story. That's like, I just had to kind of pick what my story was, and I don't know, but that was I thought that people would assume that, but then I like hearing from a lot of people, they're like, oh, I can't wait to use this in my next project. And I'm like, you could use it in this project if you want, though,
Well, because it's so designed, I do feel like it gives that default vibe of like, oh, if I use any of these, I got to use all of them, or I can't just drop it in the middle of my project. But really you can, because you have the styles broken out and you can just restyle it to look like your other components that are already in your existing app. So yeah, I think your website, I mean, obviously you haven't had time for this yet, but you got to flesh out the website like a lot, like not in the docs. Yeah, but I think it should be more than a landing page. Like I think you should have some different pages that talk about these different use cases specifically and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the hard
or
stuff.
the big landing page that tries to do it all. I mean, whatever, there's different approaches, but like really get into like the different ways you can use this, and from the like just drop it in, it's magical, don't think about anything else, all the way down to like it's really just a skeleton and you can layer over whatever panels you want on it and make it look however you want and do whatever you want and all that. And
there's a lot of communication to be done. And when Hugo and I were just like talking landing page ideas and like what do we want to do with it, we kept coming back to like some of these I don't want to constantly reference ShadCN, but ShadCN, like the landing page is so simple because it's just ubiquitous. Like it has a reputation. You go straight to the components and you look at them and it's kind of self-evident. And that was the motivation for us. Was like, okay, do we kill ourselves on this giant landing page to communicate every tidbit? Or is it just like people know the class of product that this is, it slots into their brain, they can go look at all the components, we're good to go. But that line of thinking led me to when you only have the landing page, hilarity ensues.
Like well, and also, right? I mean, I think that all makes sense. It's all logically consistent, right? Because if ShadCN is a free and open source thing, and that's all it's ever been, right? And it's like, here it is. Use it. Don't use it. You like the landing page? Don't. Whatever. Who cares? And then they got acquired, right? So it's like they're corporate sponsored to be free now, and that's it. Whereas you are trying to go somewhere different with this, right? It's like, no, I got to convince people to separate the money from their wallet, and also, longer term goals of like building this into a many year long, very successful, profitable business, right? So like that's a different kind of website to me than like, I think it makes sense day one to be like, we gotta get something up. Let's copy Shad's general vibe in terms of it's a simple landing page. It's components, people know about it. But I think for a business, that's probably not true. And also even just going between React and PHP Laravels, that's not true, because like in React land, there's a million component libraries, everybody gets it, right? But here there's not a million component libraries, and even the ones that are very different, right, from Flux.
Yes, so they all have different Yeah, there's some that are
Some of
more
them are
like
heavier, right?
heavier, and some are lighter. You know, it's
right. So I think this needs more explanation for the
Yeah.
part of the market that hasn't been as exposed to components as
Yeah,
the
think
React
you're right.
world has.
So,
You know,
Ian, here's my question: where was this
Mm.
advice before launch morning?
Here,
It's
Ian,
too late.
where was this advice last
too
night
late.
at 10 p.m.
It's all right. It's
when
fine.
we had
This is,
time?
I think this is fine because you know what, the people buying right now are people who know Caleb and they're
Yeah.
in, right? They're in Livewire. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is fine for like the launch landing page. It's doing well. It's fine. But for the like a year from now, I don't think it's fine for a year from now necessarily.
Yeah, there's
in
two
terms
different
of maximizing what this can be, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the difference to me. It's like, yeah, this is like people who know Caleb who are on his list, who are like all aboard the train. That's a separate group from people who randomly find you from a PHP component search on Google, right?
Yeah.
That's a totally different person, and you want to get them too, but that's a
Yeah.
different kind of work.
Yes. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Caleb, hit us with a vibe check. How are we doing? Give us some stats. How many retweets? How many? How
all
do
right.
you feel?
Haven't even looked at Twitter. Okay, it feels good so far.
Feels
numbers,
good so far.
Numbers
okay.
wise, Caleb is happy.
Caleb is
I
happy.
always
Oh, wow.
make sure I more so now than before, I make sure to set my expectations as low as I can reasonably do for myself and really try hard to convince myself that it's going to totally flop. Nobody cares. And I'm going to make $0 because I've been like, you know, I think I said this on the podcast. I'm like historically have been let down on launch days, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, no, just prepare yourself. It's a, you know, the train goes on the tracks and it chugs along. It's like a longer thing. It's not just the first 10 minutes. So it's already like way more than my super low expectations. So I'm feeling good about it.
That's
It's
great.
like I have
great.
like total good feeling like, yeah, this worked. Cool. It's like people are pumped. It's this is validating. It's all good for me. So let's look at some Twitter stuff because I haven't even literally opened that.
Well, that's what you get when you have a super high quality live stream production. You know, you can just totally exceed expectations.
That's right.
There's already there's a
When you
black
just-
market forming for the extra license keys, so that's kind of funny too.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
No, I don't think really people are joking around, but it is kind of funny.
That's funny. Yeah, because that's a tricky one. I think I'm still in like a grace period window of like a day or two where I could revoke that second added one, and it's like, well, you just you know, if you happened to have used it in a project like in one day,
dude,
like that's on you.
No.
Just like
don't
kill them all.
even worry about it. Don't even think about it. Just fix the error and never think about it ever again.
Okay.
Don't worry about the two licenses. The two
gotta shut
licenses
down
are
the
with the
black
same
market.
person. They can only use it once.
Yeah.
Who can, you know what I mean? Like you're just gonna make a bunch of support where like you turn off half the licenses for people because they use the second one, they use the first one, whatever. Who cares? Don't worry about it. Keep going. You
At
didn't lose
1
any
a.m.
money, so it's
last
all nice.
night, I issued 1,500 licenses to which 1,500 licenses took forever. And I had no idea why, but to test at example.com. And I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And I started putting like all these logs all over, vimming in, like trying to figure out what the hell is going on, thinking it's a problem. I don't know. I did fix it, but it's just like funny licensing it. I have so much to clean up. Like those licenses are just there and they're part of like,
I feel that.
I'm like, quote unquote, paying for them on any stack. Like, it's all part of the like quota.
That part's annoying.
So whatever.
I can say from my own experience, building your own store, which is what we have for HelpSpot, is a terrible idea and horrible. But there are times you can't avoid it, and it does let you do things which you otherwise can't do if you just only play in the Stripe playground, right? Like you can just do other sorts of things. So it does have its advantages, but it is very annoying that it's not a pre-tested, built, and wonderful system. You have to go through all the bugs of building a software product to build your licensing.
It's so gnarly.
It's not great.
It's so super gnarly. It's so
never ends. It will never end for you. I'm telling you that right now. It never ends. It just bugs all the way down.
It's just bugs.
And they always get pushed off, or the screen's not perfect, or something's wrong. You can't get the data you need. Are you going to do it now, or do you wait and then you just do stuff in the database manually all the time because you're like, well, I don't want to build the thing to the store because I'm working on the actual product. And
and when you're building the thing, it's like it's so MVP. Get it? It's the last priority. It doesn't improve anything. You know, it's not. Nobody's like, oh, I hope the licensing system is really like works
Right.
well and is fast
Tight,
and good. It's like they
yeah.
just expect that.
Yeah.
So it's just this thing that
Yeah.
doesn't really add value, but is so much work, like
Yep.
way too much work. Yeah, just
I mean,
way
Eric basically
too deep.
spent literally a year rebuilding our back office like last year. It
Mm.
was literally a year because we have like 20 years of different license things. We keep supporting the old ones.
Yeah.
And it does all this other stuff. Like we handle invoices and credit cards and checks and whatever.
Yeah.
There's a million things. And it's like, it's a humongous application we should probably be selling because it's like, that's how big it is. Like crazy.
It was very important for me to flub up the first launch, the pre-order launch, because I just learned like so much. And one of those really valuable lessons that I think we've talked about, but is like Europeans need their VAT numbers and stuff on their invoices, and they need invoices, which is so weird because I don't issue invoices for anything, for any of my other stuff, and nobody says a word. It's like,
this is a product. This is more product-y than the other things.
It's more product-y. So that's just, it was one of those, that hidden secret knowledge that just whacked me in the face when I just was like, oh yeah, why do you 650 people need like invoices? Okay, well, I'll build a quick invoice generator. That there's like one morning blown. All this to say, if I didn't pitch you on Zenvoice, it's so sick. This is Mark Liu's.
Is it good?
Thing. Oh, it's the best.
Oh,
really?
I mean, it's a very MVP scrappy kind of micro SaaS, but it is like the perfect representation of somebody going like, here's an annoying problem that a certain subset of people know so well, and the pitch is as simple as like one sentence, like Stripe invoicing fixed, and then it's like, don't, I'm making this up, but it's essentially this. It's like, don't deal with support requests for like adding VAT IDs to invoices. And I was like, oh my, sold. And the pricing is generous. It's one-time pricing for a SaaS. And it's like $70. So I spent hours issuing invoices and adding custom stuff. And then I just was like, oh my God, $70. And then you're done. You put a link in your dashboard. There's a link that's called invoices that somebody clicks. They click it. They put in their email. They're on Zenvoice now. They put in their email. Zenvoice sent. There's no username, password, login. There's no OAuth. This is level stuff. They send you a login link. This is just so MVP. And then you open it, and because I authenticated with Stripe and whatever, they see a table of all their Stripe orders from my store, and then they can customize their invoice. It's literally the thing that I was building for myself, but just awesome and all integrated. So they can they can customize all their own details. I don't have to fiddle fuddle and be
address you
what
want.
exactly do you need here? Do you want VAT : on the invoice or just the number? It's like all that stuff. They can just do it themselves. It's self-service, and now I don't even think about it. So shout out to Zenvoice.
Yeah, these are all things people have to relearn. It's crazy.
Yep. So we learned. Yeah.
Maybe someday you'll deal with purchase orders. That's what we also deal with, which is a whole contract. I know you love contracts, but purchase orders, contracts. If you get big teams that want to buy, 100 licenses, they're going to be like, yeah, well, we got to do a purchase order and you got to send us licenses, whatever. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, that sounds, well, you're in it, Ian.
I'm deep in it.
You're really in it.
You're a real business.
Producer Dave has people are asking how long the launch discount is.
No idea. I have toyed with.
I think it should be forever, basically.
I thought like a day,
at least
then I thought a week, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't commit to it. If I ever commit to anything, then I will either be held to something I hate or I will lie to you. That's just the way.
How about at least, at minimum?
Oh, at minimum a few days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Here's my thought on that. You gotta keep it going for a while to get the big launch spike. Let that die down a little bit, and then when you send out an email that says the early access discount is going away,
for sure,
that's another spike. So you gotta spread those two things out just a little bit.
Excellent point. It's got to be like weeks then, a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know about a couple weeks, but definitely.
Not feeling it.
No, I mean I know totally. I mean that's the move. That's the formula. You do the thing, and then you go hike, and you do that thing, and then Black Friday comes and you go hike, and then that's your your marketing strategy for the year. So definitely going to do it. But yeah, I don't know the timeline around it. I still like. I guess there's a part of me that wants to be like true to it being like a special thing, and not just like do this right now. And
holy
well,
cow!
Aaron is
What
being
the hell
attacked.
happened?
I
Somebody
just
is
got
in
in a
the
car
car.
accident. Sorry, guys. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Well, that's interesting because I was thinking about I hadn't actually even looked at the crossed out pricing, and $4.99 that's pretty
It's
hefty
hefty.
for the solo dev tier.
So
That's,
where did that
pretty-
come from, Ian? Well, it
Yeah,
came
where
from.
did it come from?
Well, so the initial pitch was $99 a project for 1 year for one project.
Right.
So it's like if you build up from that. So at that, people were DMing me and being like, I just need an unlimited tier. It'll make my life so easy. I'm a freelancer, just tons of this. They're like, give me an unlimited tier. I'll happily pay you $500, whatever. But if it's unlimited, and they were saying $500 a year, they're just like, I just need unlimited projects because I want to use this in pet stuff. I want to use this in client projects, and I don't want to fiddle with, individual stuff. So that was kind of lodged in my head as like, okay, what people are, at least what I know, that a decent subset of this market, the freelancer, contractor, solo dev subset, would pay $500 for just all access. And then the rest of folks, there's like a more accessible price. And so that's where 500 came from. But it is a high anchor. I don't know if I'll like immediately switch back to 500, but that was sort of the plan.
Man, it's killing me that it doesn't say like solo dev or one dev on there, man. The business dad legal Ian is like,
his dad's upset.
I'm doing the, I don't know. This is scary. It's not enough money that anybody's going to actually like care in a sense. Right. So that's the good side. It's like, nobody's going to sue you and be like, you told me I could use it with unlimited, but it's not unlimited and whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I got to do that. I think I could just add a single line item. There's a little this is how I make business decisions. Is there enough space to add an extra one without like messing up all the like the tier like heights? It's like, okay, there is. I can solve that problem. We're good.
I got another thing I want to talk about too, of a question for you.
Hit me.
But let me see. I'm reading. You guys talk for a second. I'm going to read something here before
Tell me about
ask
yourself,
this question.
Man.
Yeah.
Tell me about
what's going in that car?
Yeah, not a great start. Yeah, not a great start to the week. I'm going to be honest. Weekends are tough, and then the week starts, and the weeks are tough, and then the weekends come, and the weekend is tough, and it just round and round we go.
Yeah,
we're doing okay. We're making it.
What you need to do, I think, is what I'm going to do, which is a conference that you're not speaking and aren't involved in any way.
Yeah, that sounds
like
fun.
A vacation. I think I'm about to take the first like real vacation I've had in a very long time.
Oh wow.
Rails.
You're gonna go hang out at Rails World.
Oh, Rails World.
Yeah, Rails World. I'm so excited. Like, I have nothing to do and nothing to prepare for. I'm just gonna go and I can't wait. Just stand awkwardly.
That seems awesome.
That's honestly.
I'm so jealous.
So maybe that's
it's gonna be you. It's gonna be you and Adam and Taylor. Y'all are just gonna hang out the whole time.
It's true. I'm very excited. Very excited.
Oh, Taylor's
Renning's going.
Too.
I'm pretty
That's
sure.
Right.
Renning's going.
Is he?
Yeah. Hang with him.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
And then the few people I know in Rails, that like hopefully they'll want to hang out with me. But I get it. Like, this is their turf. They got people to see. They got hands to shake.
So what are you hoping to get out of Rails Conf? Are you ideals of the Rails ecosystem? Are you just like hanging out, or you just take how long
in Toronto?
Are you going to? Is it multiple
Toronto
days?
is 2 hours from my house by car.
I know.
So it's like
I want to go to Toronto.
I have to go. And my friends are going, and then there's also this like feeling out like what the Rails ecosystem is like, and if there's some sort of maybe opportunity to do a little bit of fluxing up the Rails world, or a little
go. It's a hostile takeover. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying. It's like there's a little bit of strategy here. There's just a little bit of like, hey, what's going on over here?
Oh, I'm just gonna hang out. I'm just gonna see my friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how these?
I'm just going to see my friend. She's a girl, but I'm just my friend.
She doesn't go here.
Yeah, sure. There's like a whole high school thing. Here. Yeah.
Aaron, that's a great
I think the reverse. This is what you're telling your actual girlfriend. I'm going to hang out with the other girl. She's just my friend. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
We know what's going on.
Just friends. And honestly, I am so excited to like sit and see DHH in the flesh yelling at my face.
That's gonna be awesome.
The hair just going.
Just shouting at you.
Right?
It's been a while since I've I'm really hoping to get a good like meet your heroes kind of like a starstruck moment out of this. Like I want to be there and be like,
right.
he's right there,
He's right there.
So
touch him.
Yeah, I want to touch him, his hair. So yeah, I'm excited for Rails World. It's gonna be sweet. I almost impulse bought a Framework 13 laptop. You guys follow this, like
Just so you can impress DHH.
just to like
just have it with you.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, this old thing? Oh, you too? That's crazy.
I'd be like, hey, like, can you get this working for me? Like, I can't actually get it working at all. I'll literally bring a bag of parts because they ship you the parts. You have to assemble it. Like,
right.
I'll literally just have the bag.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Check out my Framework. But yeah, I was so close to impulse buying a Framework 13 and installing NeoVim and just living a Rails like existence for 3 days.
Yeah.
And I would have if they were available, but they're not because DHH is probably making them very rich right now. So
Well, I hope he blesses you with like a handshake or a pat on the shoulder or something. I hope that for you. Maybe you can touch the hem of his robe.
I don't think this is one of the...
Oh, he's got to have a robe. Right. He's got to have a robe.
He's got to have a robe.
He's got the whole Jesus haircut going. He's got to have a robe. If he comes out in a robe, how great will that be? God,
that would be amazing.
Man, I almost want to go now just to see if he has a robe.
Go. I think it's not too late. It's too late to get a ticket, yes.
I could find a ticket.
No, it is too late.
Tickets out there.
It's too late.
You got a ticket. I can get a ticket. Wadley can get me a ticket. Wadley can make anything happen.
Yeah, Wadley can make anything happen. If he just goes, he'll conjure a ticket. As he'll conjure did for me. Very grateful for the Wad man. Yes. Ticket.
Oh, man.
So now Adam's the priest and DHH is Jesus. So that's what's happening.
I mean, honestly, it feels like this is a we're so back moment, This is where it all started. Was like DHH is Jesus, Adam's the priest. That's how this started, Then things got a little weird for a minute. Now we're back.
We're back,
the
baby.
Universe. It's like when they go back in time, they try to change time, but time won't let itself be changed. So the timeline has to reconverge onto what always would have happened. Like that's what's happening.
This is a new story arc for me.
You know about time change?
I'm like, this is pretty.
You don't know about time travel?
We should come on.
Come on.
He's like,
time does not allow itself to be changed, Caleb.
Yeah,
right. You know how time doesn't allow itself to be changed?
It doesn't.
Like, tell me more.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Let's get back to Flux. Can we get back to Flux, people? We're not selling. DHH has plenty of money.
That's true.
Caleb doesn't have plenty of money, so we need to work. That's what we're fixing here. So
Aaron doesn't. Let's talk about Aaron. Aaron doesn't have plenty of money. Let's talk about me.
Aaron.
Aaron, you definitely look the worst of us right now.
Aaron has no money. He has no house.
Turn this
living in my car.
We're gonna put a GoFundMe up for Aaron.
GoFundMe for Aaron. Oh, that's great.
All right. Hey,
so
we're having fun.
I was very, very scared. Very scared about your terms of service.
Yeah. Don't bring this up, Ian, publicly, but
come on, man.
I just want to touch on that.
Bring up all the things that are fine if nobody says anything.
Come on, business
dad.
If
nobody says anything.
Business dad's gonna do what business dad does.
I talked to a lawyer.
Did you really?
His name is Claude, and he knows a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Claude.
All right, Ian, what are your problems?
No, I'm not going to go through it. I'm very happy to see you covered a couple things. I was a little concerned.
Oh, did you look at them?
You and Claude. Yeah, that's what I just did. I just read it just now.
How do you feel about it? Give me the review.
I feel okay.
Caleb hasn't read it yet, so give him a summary of it.
So listen, you guys aren't the first. That's true.
Okay, you want to know the craziest?
I've gone through this with a million people in Laravel where I try to buy their product and I'm like, okay, can I see the terms? And they're like, we don't have any terms. And I'm like, well, that's a problem for me, right? Because I have a product that you can distribute and always the terms say you can't distribute and then I can't buy your product and then they fix it. But like people like Aaron Francis forever, I've gone through his terms and many others. But yes, you covered that. So you got me, Claude, and you have that part down. It's a little like thin, but it's there, so that's good. And
what do you expect from Claude?
Come on.
This was actually last night at 9 p.m. I think there was no terms, and then Claude came in, swooped in, and it all just manifested. I started just going to everybody else's stuff, copying their terms, pasting it in, and having it just rewrite it every time.
Claude,
I was like,
make it work.
here's this product, here's this product, here's this product, and then it would like give it to me, and then I'd give
Yep.
it. Actually, this was actually really cool. I started the conversation with, I need blah 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 terms. Okay, don't write them for me. Ask me all the questions you would need to ask me to then write it. And it was awesome. It gave me like 10 really poignant questions.
Never use it that way, yeah.
And then I just answered them as fully as I could. And out of the gate, the terms were pretty good. And then it was just like, do it more like this, do it more like that. Is there any, and then random stuff like take this terms into account. Does that change anything about these terms? Is there something in here that this is missing, or the tone is different? And then I took all that, started a new chat, and then was like, here's term, because it sometimes gets in a little hallucinating. You take it too far down a path, and like, we're too far down this path. So just like pull it out, open a new chat, and be like, here are my terms. What do you think about them? Are there any holes you could poke in it?
Yep.
We love Claude.
I do like.
We love Claude, and I love. I love the extent to which you're going to prove to Ian that you put a lot of thought into this. I just kept asking questions.
I just kept chatting. With Claude. Can you imagine every like IP lawyer in the world? They're just like people coming with these Claude built licenses, and they're just like, God, this thing's a freaking mess. This person's like totally open. Like people just used to come to them with nothing, and they got to do the whole thing. Now they have to fix other people's like half done things, which is always worse.
It's true.
And on the surface, I do like this. It looks good. I mean, you should still 100% contact a lawyer, but at least you did also have.
How much is that going to cost me?
It doesn't matter.
What's
it going to cost you to not do it? That's the question.
Nothing.
That's the question.
Nothing.
No,
literally nothing ever.
If you ever literally get 4 team sales because like the terms are correct, then that you've already paid for the lawyer.
In the
it's not
terms,
going to cost $50,000.
Oh, right. I see it.
$4,000 or $3,000.
You're saying opportunity cost.
Yes.
Because Claude made sure to cover me that my liability is only limited up to a refund.
Oh my God. I really hate to tell this to you guys. I feel like you guys love living in the fantasy land of the internet, right? But like,
I do.
Just because you write something in there doesn't mean it's true or legal. So like, you gotta.
There were definitely some things in there. There were some things there that I'm like, I hope this is legal. Like,
right, exactly.
If you write, it's a contract. Anything is anything. If you write it in there, it's legit.
It was saying some stuff about trademarks, and I was like, I don't have any trademarks. I hope this is okay.
Yes, you do.
Like, I think it's saying, it's like
Flux, Livewire. These are things that you should have trademarked.
Oh yeah, but they're not. So it's like, it's like everything Flux, like copyrights, including its copyrights and trademarks. It's like, yeah.
You should have you don't have a trademark on Livewire. You should get a trademark on Livewire.
I don't know if I can. There's a motorcycle. I'd have to.
Yeah, it's trademarking
different domain.
Thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine.
It takes like 2 years and it's hard, and I don't know.
It costs.
Can't you just declare a trademark? Can't you just say I have a trademark? I declare trademark.
All these steps,
bankruptcy.
and then you have to. You want it to be a registered trademark, so there's some extra hoops you have to jump through.
What's the difference between a registered and non-registered trademark?
It's basically like goes through extra like steps with the government and a longer period of time where like people can fight it and say, no, I use the term Livewire in another software product, and Caleb's screwing me.
Can I declare a non-registered trademark? I'm literally saying this is not registered in any way. This is
I don't remember if you can just say.
I'll say a completely unregistered trademark.
I think there is some element to that, where just by using it, you're doing it to some degree.
Right.
But then like
those are the laws
you have to protect
like.
it. Right, but you have to.
I like this sort of just like this email is like like that kind of stuff. It's
overthinking it. It's like I'm talking about all the lawyers you need are like $6,000 total, and you just spend the $6,000.
There's the number I'm trying to get out of Ian.
Yes, so I'm saying it's like 3,000 or 4,000 for the terms of service, maybe less, and 2,000 or 3,000 for the like registered trademark stuff, and you just pay it, and you're happy you have it. And here's the other thing: when someone wants to buy this from you someday, when it's a huge thing and you're ready to sell, people are gonna come in and be like, "Oh, you don't actually have the rights to any of this stuff. That's a huge bummer. Like, how do we buy this? But you don't own the term Flux is actually used by some other component library for 10 years before you started using it. And that's a big problem, blah, blah, blah. Like that's why they check on that stuff, and you know, you're good.
Okay, Ian's recovering from surgery. We gotta go easy on him. He's about to have an aneurysm here. Yeah.
This whole generation doesn't like lawyers. Lawyers are the best thing ever. When they're working for you, it's when they're against you that they're bad. When the ones that are working for you are great.
That's the worst take.
No, it's a great take.
I'll go solve all this stuff. Dave, bleep this out. in the edit so that I'll go fix this stuff. Then you can unbleep it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Then when people come at me, I got the phalanx. Just
well, you got the
can't
changes. That's the other nice
penetrate.
thing you have in here is you left yourself the out. You can modify the terms at any time.
I did. I
Good.
was excited that Claude let me do that. Claude suggested
do
it,
that.
and I was like, "That's a great
Yes.
suggestion."
That seems right. Yeah.
You could have
So this
easily
way-
just not suggested it, and then I'd be completely locked in.
That
It's
was
like,
the main
oh,
thing I was looking for.
we can
I was
do
like,
that. We can just kind of change it a little bit.
Yeah. I was like, I don't
Sweet.
want to like look in this thing and it says you
Right.
can't. There's nothing about changing the terms, and you got it. So you got that. That's great.
terms. I went from 0 to 2%, 15% knowledge of terms in about
Wow, that escalated
Yeah.
quickly.
Well, I
Exactly.
just, I mean, you heard my big spiel. Like, clearly, I put a lot of work into this. Like,
You did. You chatted for a long time, and then you
chatted.
messaged us and were like, "Can we go live in the morning?"
I'm ready.
Yeah, it was like,
But see, but so here's the funny thing, though. Here's the funny thing with you guys. I listened to
don't
you
you guys me.
I'm-
Don't you
I'm
guys
wa-
me.
Oh no, you're
No,
part
no.
of this.
Oh,
You
wait.
are part of this, Aaron.
No, it's all
I'm gonna
content.
loop
You
you
can't
all
take,
the way in.
I have podcast immunity.
I listened to you two
No.
an hour and a half on Notes on Work
Okay.
talk about people taking Livewire and doing stuff Caleb doesn't like with it necessarily, and people wrapping code, and we don't like when they wrap the code and all this stuff. And how do you think you
changed
keep
man, by
people
the
from
way, but-
doing that? This is how you do it. It's through terms and licenses.
Terms.
That's how you prevent those things that you don't like. And this is a product you can actually do it on, unlike Livewire, which
The problem with
can't do
any
it
of
on.
that, Ian, is like,
Yes,
what am I going to do about it? Nothing.
this is what.
What
This
am I going
is
to do?
how
I wouldn't
you
even know
fix
what to
it.
do about it. Hey,
No, yes, you
don't
would.
do that. You know?
That's exactly what you. But that's the point.
Aaron's
We lost
pissed.
Aaron. With Livewire and things like that, there's nothing to do about it, right? But with this, if somebody just takes the whole thing and sets up shop tomorrow,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and
yeah.
says,
Yeah, I got to do
"I
something.
am Bucks UI," right? Then you want to be able to go to their service provider and
You
be
just
like,
take out the
this
L.
down."
They're just going to remove the L in the name.
Ux UI, yeah.
No, keep the
So-
F.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Ian to say.
So you can go to their internet service provider and be like, listen, they're using my trademark, they're using my copyrighted source code, they're against my terms, they can't do this. And you can take their sites down and all this stuff. But if you don't have things documented and legal,
Yeah.
then it's harder
Well,
to
do
do
we
those things.
do now. We have the terms.
We do have terms, yes.
We have the terms. I hear you.
That's what I'm saying. Oh,
Ian-
he's upside down.
No,
This is
no,
great. no,
upside
no, no.
The car
Leave it upside
has
down.
flipped.
So
Leave
my
it upside
my phone went into emergency overheat mode right when you were wagging your finger at me.
God.
So that's the
It
universe.
was
What did I do?
getting
What did I do wrong? What did Caleb and I do?
We were just talking about how you guys spent an hour and a half
It's
on Notes
more
on
of
Work
the
talking
same.
about
This guy with his
licensing.
lawyer talk.
Okay, yeah.
More business
okay.
dad, business dad stuff.
Nobody wants to hear it.
You know what I
We're
should
done with
say?
business dad corner. Let's get off of business dad corner.
This, on the note of the hour and a half podcast about people stealing stuff, the conclusion from people like you who were like, dude, you just have to honestly charge for the thing and then people won't steal it. It's like, if you give it away for free,
Right.
they're going to steal it because it's not stealing. If you charge for it, now it's
correct.
stealing.
It's
Well,
not
right.
stealing.
This is
also
like a
part
big
of that-
realization for
Yes.
me. Parents realizing
If
it as
it's if it's free, it's not stealing. That is correct.
free, it's not stealing.
That's right.
So honestly, like, it's a great feeling. It's like, oh,
But now, right. And you just go to that. The final step in that thought process
Yeah.
is that the reason that that's true is because what you are selling them is defined in this contract called the
Yes.
terms of service. That is what literally we're talking about. That's the
Preach,
difference between
Ian.
the free thing and this thing is literally the only difference is the terms of service. That's the difference.
That's a wild thing. I believe in this alternate universe of just like how far reasonable expectation just takes you on its wings. You know, of just like no terms. I bet it would survive fine for a long time, and everyone would
probably
just be
would.
like, well, yeah, it's like this
Yeah,
paid
it's
thing. You
true.
can't, it's just there's a lot of and that's so this is what I want to bring to
It's
you.
just like
Ian.
having
you,
insurance,
You
though.
won, Ian. Loosen up a little bit.
I can't. I can't do it. The other, So I'm going to go the opposite of that and say that this isn't actually terms of service. It's supposed to be called a license.
I don't know the
Don't
difference between
escalate
those
with
words.
me, Ian.
not-
Don't raise your voice at me.
It's not terms. It's a license.
So
You're not
I-
providing any services. You're providing a license to software.
Oh
So
gosh.
Claude did kind of lead with terms of service and license agreement. I
see
started
that.
scouring, and it looks like everybody's kind of just playing free and loose with the terms of terms and license. It's like
Yeah,
some people there it says license, people says terms, and I kind of it's like I'll split the difference. It's
I'll do both.
Both.
Yeah.
You know?
Perfect.
How can you? go
That's
wrong?
not technically what splitting the difference is, but I do like the final outcome. Splitting the difference is different than doing both for sure.
I got to think about this split the difference situation. It's not.
Well, split the
we
difference
can't
is
we're
like
split the
half
difference
of
between the
each.
trade.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Half
like,
of each, yeah.
split the
Not
difference.
all of both.
Or
It's all of both. We'll split the difference of the trade-offs. Where we like.
There's no
Sure,
trade-offs.
yeah.
We do it all. Yeah,
Perfect.
I like it. All
Combine
right,
the
no more
difference.
business dad corner. What
Yeah,
else can we talk about?
Ian's you gotta
How-
stop complaining
how are
about us,
sales?
man.
How
Yeah,
are
how we doing?
sales today?
What are the vibes?
We're slowing.
Okay.
No, we hate that.
We don't like.
It's fine though because I had an internal like this would be sick, and we did hit it.
Mm.
I did update you guys, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we.
Yeah,
Yes, but I don't think we got. We don't know the
That-
sick if you hit it number. I don't
That's
think.
the one. The last number
Okay.
is the I hit the number that's like
Nice.
sick. You know,
We got to
Perfect.
internal sick
So-
mode. That's great.
internal sick mode.
I love
That's
it.
awesome. That's a day one launch right there.
Yeah,
That
so
is a day
we're
one
definitely happy about that because that's an hour one launch. We're an hour and 10 minutes
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
in, and Flare isn't. It's still the errors unless maybe Flare needs to be refreshed, and now I'm gonna see all the errors.
I mean, people
It's
are
not so
buying.
bad.
You got money in the bank. Yeah. Who
Yeah,
cares?
you're going to be out there talking about this forever, right? So it's like whatever. If they don't buy today or something went wrong, they'll buy tomorrow. It'll be
Yeah.
all right.
Let's see. This is an important metric. How many emails? How many support emails do I have to get through?
Mm.
Okay, 146.
Okay, but a lot of,
And this
I bet you
number,
there's some
so it was
bounces.
That
200.
sucks.
It was 200 last night, and
You need a Linda, man. That sucks.
I already got a Linda. His name is
Oh,
Josh
good.
Hanley and
Oh,
Ben
good.
Sherrod, who both are in different time zones. And I was like, dudes, I got to go to bed, and I have 200 emails. Here's access to my help spot. Here's some saved replies. Please.
Same
help me."
password.
Here's the password. Here's the password. So
I
sorry.
don't need to send you the password. Just use the one.
Yeah, just right. Yeah, I don't want to type it out.
Funny.
Just use the one.
Just use the same one.
Use the one password. You guys got to use one password.
It's too much.
This is my sales pitch for one
Oh, it's
password.
so good. It's
No
so
more
good.
than one.
One new product,
That
then
is
one
my
password.
new
It only lets you
favorite
have one
show.
password. Yeah. I hope everybody was
That's
on
good.
from the beginning.
Oh, it's a good bit. It's a good
Can't
bit.
handle
It's a
it.
bit. I love a bit. We love a bit. on
We
this
love-
show.
I love a bit. You gotta have a bit.
Oh.
Oh
It's
man.
the best one.
I love there's like 5,000 people watching this just on Twitter, and we're just talking about one password and license terms, and like we're not selling anything. Nobody even knows what they're watching.
This is
Like,
anti-marketing, Ian.
This
We
is
do the
anti-marketing.
opposite
It's
of
yes,
marketing.
it's all strategy.
Yeah.
It's all strategy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
God.
good stuff. All right, so you got 140 support emails.
140
Okay.
support emails, which probably way
Not
more
too
than
bad.
that. But I think Ben and Josh are both being real dudes about this and are in there.
That's
You know,
awesome.
just going at
Good
it.
job,
which is
dudes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, we appreciate that, Ben and Josh. That's how we do things. You know, we're real
Well, this is-
last night situation kind of
Mhm.
launchers. You know, you get yourself into a mess, you get yourself out of the mess. That's what you do.
But you got people on it. That's the businessing
We got
part,
people
right?
on it.
That's
We
like
did the
that's
businessing.
awesome.
Yep.
Yes. And if you charge for things, then you can have people on it, which is the nice part about that, right? Where it's hard to have people on it when if it was just totally
Oh, I
open
see
source,
what you're saying. Having people on it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all paid.
you can pay
They'll
people
send
to
me
be on it.
invoices. I
Right.
don't feel guilty about being like,
Mhm.
and it's very much it's actually during their workday, which is amazing. It's like it's midnight and I'm calling in a favor and it's like the
Right.
middle of the day for this
Like,
guy.
we're just having coffee,
It's like
it's fine,
it's just
yeah.
like, oh yeah, sure, whatever.
Yep.
Make this part of my workday. I'm a freelancer. I can do that.
That's
It's
what
awesome.
the money is for. That's right.
That's what the money is for.
Yep.
That's what
Yes.
they're buying. So
So,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hit
you're
us
gonna
with
need a
more
support
stats.
person
What else
soon.
do you got?
Okay,
you,
what else?
you got a
Let's
bunch
see.
of.
Well,
You got
all
a
right,
bunch
let's look
of.
at the
Give me
Twitter
views on
stats.
Twitter. I can't look at Twitter because I got the whole phone thing going on.
So
So,
Twitter, I am.
is anybody saying anything funny?
All right. So Twitter is broken for me.
Okay,
Basically,
that's good.
nobody likes my tweets ever, which is fine.
Mm,
But like, I get so much
I'm
more
sorry,
like
buddy.
traction and attention. Twitter loves Aaron, and Aaron does a good job at Twitter. Twitter does not love
No.
Caleb. Guess how many likes I have on the big tweet?
The big tweet. All right.
Guess.
I'm gonna go 50.
I'm gonna go 350.
Right. So 350 would even still be like, I've gotten more likes on that with random just bleh,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
117.
No, on the
Isn't that
big
Closest
tweet.
without
nuts?
going over. Closest without going over.
So I actually never know what views. So retweets is 58, which is like a ton of
insane.
retweets. And
Yeah.
Twitter is just like, no. I don't want to blame
they
this
don't
all
care
on
about the
Twitter, but
retweets.
this thing worked before.
It
If
did
I
work
would have
before.
wrote this tweet and put it out there 2, 3,
It did work
4
before.
years ago, this
Yep.
thing would
Oh, yeah.
have 1,000 likes, like no problem.
How many views does it have?
7,500.
What?
What's
Not-
that? High
I
or
mean,
low? I actually don't know. Views.
Criminal.
Right.
Low.
So they're burying it,
Yeah.
Yep.
which is nuts. But that's how Twitter works for me, dude. They
Why we
hate
gotta
me.
get out.
Nobody.
We gotta get out.
We gotta get out.
They hate me.
So
It's
bad.
so weird. And then like other folks, I'm not going to mention any names, but other folks
Do
just
it.
like tweet. I can't say his name. He's right here. They just like tweet something. They tweet something, and it's just like boom. And good for you, Aaron. But I'm telling you, man, if I tweeted the same thing, like the algorithm is warm, right? Like it knows. It's like
I think it knows.
it knows, because I swear we could do like an A/B test or something,
Mhm.
and you're like hot. Twitter's like, this guy we're gonna show to everybody, and he's like, this guy,
Weird.
silence him. You know,
It's weird.
you do a better
this
job of
guy,
like you engage. You do a ton.
does
I'm
what he
not
wants,
robbing
yeah.
that from you at all. Like
But
you,
he also does video,
Thank
which
you.
is what they want. They want.
I gave him the
video.
video. I did
The
the
big
video.
tweet. The
video in
big
there?
tweet has a
The big
video.
tweet
Yeah.
had a
I didn't even
video.
see it.
The intention
Oh.
was to have a video.
Loaded
a-
into Twitter,
this
like
is the
all
Yeah.
official?
I asked the priest
Oh.
right
Yeah.
before coming on here, and he's like, "Don't do the picture, do the
Oh.
video." You know,
Yep.
and I'm like, "You got to do the video." I have a video
You're
locked
in
and
big
loaded. It's
trouble.
good to go.
Yep. So
Oh,
here's
yeah.
one thing I will say. They do seem to test engagement / reach for the first 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
And so it's possible it's
And
a
then they
slow
put it
start
on
with
the
a
track.
yeah. So that's possible.
Who
I
knows?
see
But
that. You
this is
got
my
the
life,
video,
and that's
you
how it
got the whole
goes.
thing.
And that's why,
Man,
and
that's a
you
bummer.
guys know, like, you engagement off of Twitter, and you know the number and everything. It's like it's all great, and I'm so happy. So now I'm just conditioned to looking at Twitter and just being like, it's all crap all the time. Never have high hopes. It's always going to flop. Nothing ever works on Twitter for me.
That's a good way to
Anymore.
look at life just
I mean, I think
generally.
that's
It's all crap
It's
all
all-
the time.
This
It's
is
never
Aaron's-
gonna work.
This is After
Yeah.
Dark Aaron's new
Yeah,
mantra.
this is
right
Aaron in the
alongside-
car mantra.
Aaron in the car is
It's a whole different
It's-
person.
all crap. TM.
It's all crap.
It's literally
Yeah.
all crap. You
That's
can't.
why I just
You could literally
keep up
can't
the
do
email
anything.
list. You know, it's the email list. It's like that's the thing. Now.
I know
gotta
you
have
got to
that.
just go for these other channels.
Which I don't even do that.
or
I,
just
I'm
do
trying to
whatever-
build up to that more.
Aaron, what's the secret? Like, just do what Aaron does. You know.
What is the secret? I don't know.
Easier
I
said
tweet a
than
lot.
done.
I tweet a lot. I
Do you think
respond
replying to
a
people
lot.
helps a lot? I don't like reply
think
to
it
anybody
does.
outside of my notifications. You know.
Yeah, I think I guess I respond to a lot of tweets on main as well, but I respond mostly to people that respond to me. Yeah, I don't know. I also try not to, like on a launch day, I would try not to tweet anything except the launch tweet.
Which I flubbed by like tweeting and deleting 10 tweets. It's like
Dude.
streaming, not streaming. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
but it is
Aaron
it's
reaches a
hit or
little
miss.
different
It's hit or miss
audience
for me
I
too.
think. Yeah.
I think something to try. What I should do is just run experiments, and one of them should be replying to folks on main. Just like naturally, all my friends and stuff, they're doing stuff. Just be more interactive. If I want to like see if that juices up the Twitter situation, yeah. Because like of course there's a part of it that could just be content and audience mismatch, but it's like I had the match for so long,
Right.
that
Yeah.
like I have a hard time believing that those people there's just not a match anymore. You know, I get
I
it
could
that
see
like
stuff
there's-
like a 36-minute video being bad for you. Like they want you
Yeah.
to, like they want the Aaron video, right? Like it's 2 minutes, it's highly produced. people watch the whole thing to the end.
Yeah.
Whereas like this, probably people watch and then instantly it plummets off, and they're like, okay, I got the
They're
vibe.
tracking
I'm scrolling,
like video
right?
engagement and stuff.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And so they're like, oh, it's dropping off after a minute or 2 minutes or whatever.
That is interesting,
and
right?
let's
Could've,
bury
like,
this
just
thing because
tanked.
people aren't watching it. You know,
Yeah,
I could see that being. I know in that
Interesting.
Mr. Beast thing that YouTube is like super big on that. Like,
right.
if
For
people
sure.
don't watch to the end,
It's all retention.
that thing is dead, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so it could be.
I just figured Elon fired
they're
that
just doing
guy again,
right?
and it was like, there's like they just they don't have
Yeah,
that like
they don't.
built in there, but
hire Try Hard Studios to make you short.
Oh, you should do that for the Flex
Little
launch. You should,
videos,
yeah, you
yeah.
should hire
For the
us
Flex
to make a
launch.
video for the
You
Flex
just said
launch.
Flex.
That'd be
bud.
awesome.
You just said Flex again.
I
Don't
said
say
Flux.
Flex.
I said
get him,
Flux.
get him.
No, I said Flux.
No,
Flex.
you
Go
did
to the
not.
tape. Go to the tape. I said Flux.
We got
I
some
would
taping
never.
to do.
This is what happens when you never say your product names in real life. You know, it's like, oh yeah, it could be confusing.
I
maybe,
say
right?
Flex, and yeah, I do. I've typed Flux also in Tailwind, so that has happened. You know,
Mm.
Flux
Yeah,
call.
it's just so natural, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, so we gotta fix Twitter. Maybe
Gotta fix Twitter.
We gotta fix Twitter. We gotta try some replying. I should toy with high retention short videos. That's hard to do, obviously. That's the
Yeah.
try hard part. That's like, okay, do I really want to try hard at
It's a lot of
that
hard
right
work.
now? I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm.
So maybe I just take the L. I don't know. Can I just
Hit us
can I-
with some ConvertKit open stats. What are we looking at?
Oh,
Give
not
us a-
good.
Oh, Caleb.
Well, this is what
What's
I did.
going on over there?
Let me give you the deets. This is what I did. Well, so I'll tell you. I mean, I emailed the pre-order folks, and that has a 70% open rate. So that's
That's
nice.
great. What are you talking about?
Oh,
That's
the
amazing.
I mean, but
What
it's the
was that?
pre-order folks. It's gonna be
How many is that?
pre-order.
The people who already
700
ordered,
people.
pre-ordered.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all in
So
the name
this
there.
is the ConvertKit business is, and I usually do this. So this one, the actual launch email goes to like the broader audience. I try not to send it to like people who are completely not in the vertical. Like if you only subscribed to like Alpine stuff and not Livewire stuff, you're not going to get this email. If you only subscribe to VS Code stuff, you're not going to get this email. But if you subscribe to my blog, however many years ago, like you're going to get this email. So this number is going to sound high, but it's loaded with old subs and just like tons of disinterest because in my mind, it's like, well, for this one, we'll just do a big scatter shot and then the open rates will be way lower. So I just did a deep dive on my Alpine launch, and this is what it was then. It was like good open rates, and the launch email super low because I blew it up to the full size. So, okay, stats. Flux UI is now live. Email went out to 62,500 people, and it has a 20% open rate, which will probably go up to 30 when all is settled. And
That's
probably
12
just...
to 18,000 people. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is 5% click rate, but there's not like it's not the most clicky email. 3,100 clicks. We can go to use Fathom. We should have been tracking that stuff for fun.
It is a Monday morning. Are you going to resend to the people who didn't open like later? It seems like that could be a
I
good
don't
idea.
even know how to do that.
To have
Can
an
you do
evening.
that? Resend
I think there
unopened?
is a way.
I think they have a button.
Yeah.
think you
Maybe
can
I'll
just
do that.
do it.
I definitely would send. I'll do
Might
a
have to
follow up.
change it
I'll do like
slightly.
get a bunch of testimonials. Follow that.
Gotta
Adam,
do that.
The Adam Wathen way. And
Yeah.
get a bunch of testimonials. Social proof. Add some more value. Whatever. Remind people in a few days, maybe Wednesday, do another push. Bump it up from that with people who haven't purchased yet. Then yeah, maybe more of that, maybe not, and then the final. The final. Hey, it's all ending. But Fathom is 229 real time, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good. It's a lot of people at once.
Yeah.
We're 2 hours in,
It's and so who knows how accurate that number is because a lot of people have like ad blocky type stuff. So for me, it's like a relative number. Like I know that like Livewire docs are usually around like 50, 60 people on any given day, real time. And
God,
Alpine
that's a lot of people.
Kind of the same. So like Alpine right now is 32, Livewire is 50, and old Livewire is 22. And let's see, and sushi.dev is 0. So
That checks out. Yeah.
right now. But Flux UI is 234, and which is great. That's great.
Yeah.
And
That's
records-
amazing.
It's not going to sustain that. It'll be lower than Livewire docs at some point, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like obviously for still be going out strong now. seems like a
Although
good,
it probably will be, but I think that Flux will be a stickier app than even the Livewire docs, because especially if I do what I plan to do, which is like adding new stuff, adding templates, making it a Lego bin of like, you're just going there all the time to grab a chunk of HTML to plop in, you know, like I think it'll just, I only go to the Laravel docs now when it's either a foreign concept to me that I barely ever touch, or it's like validation or something. I don't know, you know,
Selections. Yeah.
yeah, it's like once you kind of absorb the tool, I very rarely go to the Livewire docs. Like I needed to go to it once for Wire Navigate or something. So there is some kind of like taper off, and it's the same with Flux. But with Flux, I'm going to go back for like copy and pastable stuff that I'm obviously not going to memorize, you know?
Right.
So I don't know.
Where did you get 62,000 email addresses? That's a lot.
You know, Aaron, I've been at this a minute.
Okay,
my
creaky bones. Yeah.
My creaky
dark
bones.
web purchase.
It's really, I mean, I think it's two things. It's having valuable web properties like that are, you know what I mean? It's like having the distribution of good doc sites is like
sushi.dev.
like sushi.dev.
Yeah.
Exactly. So something like sushi.dev is just
doc sites
fun,
are huge,
you know. But honestly, the most valuable thing I have, usually I say it's the email list, but in this conversation, I'm going to say it's the doc sites, because you just have all this distribution built in. You can throw up any ad on there. You can put on any give me your email here, but yeah, I guess it's just like, I don't know, probably 6 years, 7 years of building lists, 5 years of building lists aggressively. But a lot of it is like you signed up for Livewire Screencast and you were opted into this. So that's like, if it was pure all like only users had to put in their email address to get updates, it wouldn't be that high for sure.
Yeah.
And that's just like a tactic that I've chosen. Is just this very like, please unsubscribe. You do not have to hear anything about this, but generally it's like an indie business. So I think there's a lot more like goodwill than if it's just like a normal like suit and tie business that's sending you crap all the time. It's just like, you get an email from me. I wrote it that morning and I do it every 3 months, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
I like that. Okay.
That's sort of my strategy. Yeah, for the emails, but I need to cull that list for sure, because I think I'm paying for tons of people who never open anything.
Probably.
You know?
Right. Yeah,
like the ConvertKit costs are like $700 a month or something now, which is like, ugh.
Wow.
So yeah, we got to figure that out.
You don't want to pay a lawyer one time to do your trademarks. Look at this guy.
He just couldn't help himself. He just had to go back to Business Dad Corner. He just had to.
It's just you tee him up. I gotta hit him out.
Yeah.
This is like I think a good business lesson for Business Dad. So listen up here, Ian, okay? No, the like a product like ConvertKit, you're always thinking, oh well, it's the thing that makes me money. So like, I'm always comparing in my mind like $700 a month versus all the money I make on these launches, and it's like, yeah, great, sure. But like Help Scout, I go, why am I paying so much for this? Like,
of course, I know this.
Stupid, you know.
This
and
is
like,
all cost center stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like ConvertKit, it's a genius founder mixed with a genius product like fit, and it's just the best. Like it's like
to the money. I love the things tied to the money.
You should go. Caleb, you should go to Boise and do the podcast. That'd be great exposure.
I would love to do that, Aaron. I absolutely should see if he'll have me.
You should do that.
I
just DM'd him and said, "Can I do that?" And he said, "You can do that," and that was it.
I don't think it's gonna make you any money, but it still would be cool. And
yeah,
it's good.
It would be great. Exposure. It would be good exposure, and it would be meeting somebody to me who like, you know, Adam is my immediate kind of like puppet master, priest, or whatever you want to call him,
superior officer.
If
guru,
he had at least early on, like Nathan would have been his. So it's kind of like a grandpa situation.
Your grand guru,
like just going.
Also,
there,
producer Steve lives in Boise, and if he's not in the hospital, you could hang out with producer Steve too.
That would be cool.
If he's not in the hospital, we could hang out and then go in the hospital doing something fun.
You guys could go mountain biking together.
Yeah.
Is he back in the hospital?
No, not this time. Just when I was up there.
He didn't send it recently. If he sends it.
Yeah. You guys should go mountain biking and just not hurt yourselves, because I need him. And also I like you, but I need him.
Sure, you need him.
He's more important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. Producer Steve and I, brief aside, we have a ton in common of like 10 years ago. Like I thought video was my thing. I had like a video business. It was the whole thing, all the gear, and I followed all the people and everything. So he knows all those people, like, or at least he's followed all the same people. So it's just really cool. We just like forgot about that whole part of my life. And it's like, oh, did you watch Grayscale Gorilla? Oh yeah, Grayscale Gorilla. He's still doing stuff. Oh, did you watch Video Go About? So yeah, Steve and I, we could hang, we could bike, we could end up in the hospital. The real-time Fathom is holding strong. 251.
Holding strong.
251. I already know to be disappointed. There's metrics I know to be excited about, and ones I know to not be excited about. Open rates, not excited anymore. Twitter, totally not excited. Stripe, excited. Fathom, excited. So
Dan, thanks Dan in the chat said Taylor gave the stream the retweet, so it looks like got the bump in numbers. So
there we go.
Welcome everybody, new viewers. We're talking about Flux.
Caleb's tell them what we're supposed to be talking about
component
here.
Library. That's gonna make your dev life so much easier.
Yeah, so maybe like, I don't know, is there anything more interesting to say that I haven't said already? Is there something that you guys that we can mine here, like an obscure component or something that's cool, or a tidbit, or maybe I can tell you something I think is cool.
Yeah, I had a question for you about this. Actually, it's perfect for this. So one thing, so I knew you were doing this, and I was excited about it, and I figured components, I got it. But the one component that I'm super excited about that I was not at all expecting was that you did all the layouts. And like that stuff is always such a huge pain in the ass. And it's not usually in a component library, or at least not in the way you seem to have built it, where it's fully realized and it just works, as opposed to like, yes, there's a hamburger menu and you can wire it up with this other thing. And like, it's still going to take you all day to actually make it work the way you want it to work across all the responsive states. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's just like, no, you use these blade tags and boom, you have a fully awesome navigation and sidebar and all the, you even had folders, which nobody ever does. Even Tailwind UI doesn't have proper folders, or at least they didn't. So yeah,
I love it when Ian gets excited. It's got folders.
It's got folders. Because you know what? Nobody ever designs things for real apps, and it so pisses me off that it's like, no, in a real app, you can't just have 3 items on the left bar. That doesn't work. Nobody builds apps like that. Like, you flip the folders. You're my man. You get it.
So Ian, thank you, Ian, for the alley-oop. I really appreciate that. Let me just briefly, let me get a hoo-ha. I'm going to give a few things, and you've both built layouts. Yes, you've built layouts for apps. You know the struggle. You've done plenty of times. So I'm going to give you a challenge, and then I'd like to get a hoo-ha.
I'm not going to give you that. Maybe I'll give you a woohoo.
I don't even know what a hoo-ha is, but I'm ready. Let's do it.
It sounds like something my son would call something that he saw.
Daddy, I want a hoo-ha.
Yeah. Really quick on the hoo-ha talk. River the other day said, "Dada pee out mouth when I spit," which I thought was hilarious.
I heard that.
So that was very funny. He said something else that was freaking hilarious, and I meant to write it down. I forgot.
I love that age where they say the funny stuff.
Best.
But make sure you get videos of it, because we have so much fun with, like, obviously only got like 4% of them on video, right? But those 4% are just so great. We love those videos.
Yeah. I got to keep a list. I used to do this with like Hannah when like she would say like funny stuff. I did this with my mom when she would mess up idioms. I called him Carol.
Oh, those are the best.
Carol. And so she had like it's a doggy world, stuff like that. I just made this big list, and then at her 50th, like read it all out, and everybody was dying. It was funny.
Oh, that's a great idea.
You got to keep lists of like every little funny thing people say, because it's fun to just look at on a car ride. Okay, so layouts. First thing, you got a header layout. Okay, it spans the full width. But you want it to be a constrained width, right? Like a container. So you add Tailwind's container class, or you do max W7XL MX auto, right?
Yep.
But you need the background and border to span the full width. So now you need the wrapping div. Can I get a hoo-ha?
You're hoo-ha. Hallelujah. Okay. Can we do a hallelujah?
We can do
hallelujah. Amen. I'll hit you with an amen. Yeah.
Woo!
That feels better.
Great. You put something in a sidebar, but you had to get it like positioned all perfectly on the page. Now on mobile, you have to create a completely separate sidebar div that hides, and now you duplicate all those links. Can I get a hallelujah?
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Okay. What else can I squeeze out of you? There's 2 things. That's
the end.
Like, some of the stuff you already know, but like if you
that's
have
2 days of work though.
If you have a sticky header. If you have a sticky header, all the like you could just do position sticky, but now all the content is shoved. No, that's not true. If you have a sticky sidebar,
I was with you.
Header's fine. You can just do CSS position sticky and you're good, and it will place everything under it. It's not like absolute. It's just sticky. But if you have a sidebar and you do sticky, you have to hard code in a pixel value or whatever value for top,
For the
like an
space.
absolute
Yes.
top. So it has to be. So you have to
Correct.
hard code in the height of your header and not diverge from that to get that
Right.
sticky behavior. And then you have an aside, like a right sidebar that has like a different height. That all that stuff.
Mhm.
That's
I'm definitely
calculated at
following
runtime,
this. Yeah.
and it's taken care of for you. Can I get a hallelujah, Aaron?
Hey,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah. Amen. That's amazing.
I
Okay.
love it.
Let's keep going.
That's awesome.
You built
Yes.
that sidebar that stashes automatically, and you have a
Mhm.
transition or whatever. So when you click it, it transitions out, right? Great.
Yes.
But you reload the page, and it flashes and transitions away for a second. Can I get a
It
hallelujah?
says, hallelujah.
Always.
That is some
Hallelujah.
jank. That is some jank right there.
That's right.
I don't like
Yes.
that one bit.
Yes.
And just
Okay.
even figuring out all that stuff, it takes so long. Yes, give me more.
Yep.
We're still
Yep.
going. You have the sidebar and its
Mm.
sticky position and everything, but the content you want to be scrollable and not expand the page. Can I get
Obviously.
a hoo-ha? Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
The height of the body the height of the body and the sidebar are too short and they don't span the full height and they look weird on the random page that has like
Embarrassing.
no content. Hoo-ha.
Super embarrassing.
Here's another good one. This is a recent one. You do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Then on mobile, somebody slides
Mm.
out the sidebar, scrolls down, and the bottom's cut off because your mobile browser puts that optional thing that it hides and shows, and it
Yep.
isn't.
Yep.
You just did H screen, which is 100 VH, vertical height. If you do that, it will not account for that, and it will be cut off. So you have to do DVH, which is dynamic view height, and then it'll adapt for all those view heights.
Hate that.
Can I get a hallelujah?
Hallelujah. Amen.
So the list goes on and on and on. Oh, yeah, whatever. I mean, just whatever.
every time you have to do that, and every time you go to Tailwind,
Layouts.
you're in the freaking Mozilla doc site figuring out some BS about how browsers work, like just to make the stupid layout. It's terrible.
Oh, and then like in your header, you have justify between for the logo and then all the other buttons, but then you need like a search thing, and then it's like centered weird, or you put it in between some other container and then shove that over, and then on blah blah blah. It's just really annoying. Done. Oh, and that search, because you use spacers, by the way, that's how you make that easy. If you have a search bar or whatever, you have easy styling for an input, but you want it to be a button that opens like a modal or something. So I have to make a button perfectly match the styling of an input, the borders, the shadow, the height, the padding,
height's wrong
the
by
text,
2 pixels,
the
always,
icon
the whole
treatment.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, it needs to pretend to be a button. So in Flux, you just do Flux input as button, and it's a completely separate component that has been painstakingly separately crafted to mirror every state of the input. So you can just treat it like input and say as button, and it will behave exactly the same, except it's an input or it's a button. Or you could add href, and now it's a link, because anything you add href to that's normally a button in Flux becomes an A tag with an href. Boom.
This is the level.
Okay,
of
this is where you hit them with the altar call. You got to tell them, come to the front and put your money in the bin, and you too will be saved. So give them the pitch.
This is the part I never land. Literally,
Yeah,
in my days
you can
of
do it.
preaching, I actually like had somebody else do the actual altar call after building them up for like a weekend, because I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
You got them to the emotional high, and you couldn't close it.
Okay, so that layout thing alone is like nothing compared to everything else in Flux. But if you thought any of that was cool, go buy Flux. Did I do it?
FluxUI.dev.
Aaron,
Might want to tell them where to go.
Can you show me how to save the wandering developer?
Yeah, immediately following the milk toast pitch, don't say, "Did I do it?" So that's definitely like that's tip number one. Definitely don't do that.
I can't. I'm not a
it was
closer.
Close.
I'm a warmer upper.
You're not a closer. You should have
I'm
been
a
watching
warmer-upper.
Glenn Ross last night, just the Alec Baldwin scene, like
man.
5-6 times. Just to
I did
get
watch
in the
that through for
mindset.
you, Ian. Not last night, but
The whole
recently.
movie, or just the
No. You
the
sent the
scene?
clip, and
Yeah. The clip is so good.
the clips.
It's a good clip.
Baldwin,
It's a
he
good
nails
A
clip.
lot of yelling.
Ah,
lot of yelling. Yep.
gotta be a closer.
You got it.
No T. T's for closers.
So that's the layout, and that exists for so many things. That kind of like, so let's solve these problems. But maybe here's one. So the layout thing, I couldn't crack for the longest time. I tried 100 different component setups, different like positioning setups. Here's one thing I will say, that if you are building layouts by hand, all you need is divs and flexes. Like just use divs and flexes for everything. Make the whole thing a div, and then flex. Like if it's a sidebar in this, do flex. And then you have this sidebar and then flex 1. for the rest of the content. If it's a header, do it flex with this and then an expanding, and then this is flex inside of it. Use flex and flex col for everything, and it is actually good and a good way to do it. But
I think they should use Flux for everything.
Hey, flux it.
There we go.
Yes.
Flux it all.
Use code Ian for
hold on.
10% off.
yeah, I like this idea. Explain this to the people, Caleb, because I think this is a good point. There's a lot of people watching, all that stuff. For the PHP world that's not as familiar with components, it's like all these advantages. You touched on it a little bit there, but it's like when you manually build the layout, the input, but you still have everything else in your app to build, and none of it looks the same. And then making it all look the same is a humongous, insane project, right? Like it's weeks of work, and then it's still bad. So how does Flux solve that for me, as well as let me customize it and all that?
Yeah, right. I mean, you get the consistency out of the box in the sense that like we make sure that your inputs are the same height as your buttons, are the same height as your tab groups, are the same height as
all those
your
little details,
badge
like
and all
when
that.
You use them next to each other, they just work and are the same. Like that's a huge thing. You're
All
just
of
blowing
the
through that.
things that
That's
travel
freaking
together.
huge. Like yes, they're all together and work together and are meant to be put next to each other, and they don't look stupid when you do it.
And they look good, and you can size them all down. That's the other thing is like this one area you need it to be a little slimmer, but like okay, like I'll size this one down, but now I have to size everyone down, and then all their paddings change, their shadows change, their border radiuses change, and it's that whole thing. So yeah, I mean that consistency is taken care of it just fundamentally because we just made sure to take care of it. And I did a lot of like rendering them all next to each other, and then like going pixel, doing the Control Shift C and then hovering over and making sure they all say the exact pixel count and not off by 2 because of the order problem, and just other problems where sometimes randomly it's like, oh, the contents of this thing. Oh, here's a tip. I use H a lot, like a fixed height instead of a calculated height based on a text size and then a padding, because it's an escape hatch for so many weird problems.
Yeah.
So like headers are a fixed height. It's like min H14, I think. And then buttons are 10, 40 pixels. So like buttons, inputs, it's all H10. And that way you just know. And it was one of those things. It's like, it feels weird and bad. Like I should be hard coding and padding or whatever, but then you end up in these scenarios where you do like PY, arbitrary variant, calc, this many rems, minus 1 or 2 pixels. And it's like, this is stupid. This thing. And when you used fixed heights, just in general, the world opens up to you because now you can use overflow properly. Like overflow, scroll, and hidden and stuff is literally broken if you don't have hard-coded heights in places. So you add these heights. Oh, it is bonk. Two things I didn't understand anything about before building Flux is height and overflow. I had zero idea. I thought I knew them so well. You don't know them until you start going
a lot
like
of magic in there.
Why is this not overflowing? It says overflow X scroll. Why is this not scrolling? Its parent says with full. Its parent says with full. You just start adding like 100 with fulls and min with this and that, and expecting that somewhere it's finally going to go, okay, we'll constrain the width and scroll it. Those are some of the hard parts. I had another pitch for you on Fluxy. Oh, here's one.
Nailing the pitches. Yeah.
We got him going now.
Disabled states. So disabled states. This is one that like was kind of an afterthought for me. And then like all these afterthoughts, it turns into this whole big project. If you have a field, can you add a disabled thing? Like, okay, you can disable the input. First, does your input look different if it's disabled? And how does it look different? Did you just slap on a like cursor not allowed and opacity 50? Because like it's going to look weird in some places. It's not going to be consistent. And cursor not allowed is a weird thing to put on disabled. Like you should do cursor default, so Hugo did some things like disabled inputs shouldn't have a shadow, like no shadow on anything disabled. And it looks like it's very subtle and it's really clean, but it just seems like this thing that is disabled. So you got your input disabled, but is your label disabled? Is it showing that it's disabled? And is it disabled like you have a custom input that you built and then you have a label? Can you click that label to focus that input like a native input? Because you have to do that. And you have to relate. Yeah. So, and a field set, if you put disabled in a field set, do all the fields become disabled and all the labels show up in that gray style? And is your disabled style different than your subtle variant? Because like you have to make sure that if you're using like subtle like slightly more faded colors and things, but it's part of your like design. Disabled needs to be a notch below that. Like they need to be on a different Z index of visual design so people know visually that like, oh, obviously this thing is disabled and this thing is just aesthetically lighter, these are the things that you're never ever gonna deal with if you build it all yourself,
No.
And if the people don't want to build it all themselves, Caleb, where could they go to just
I'm gonna
have all
stop you
those
right
problems
there,
solved? Okay, do.
You're not gonna get me to close. Here's another one. Here's another disabled state one. If you build your own custom
What are
inputs,
you doing?
I'm so sorry. If you build your own custom inputs that support a disabled attribute, what happens if somebody removes that at runtime for any reason?
I have no idea.
Nothing. You register a mutation observer on disabled that detects that and then re-enables all the things it needs to re-enable at runtime. Like these are the
Wow.
details that you have to go to make your inputs like native ones. And that's what we do. So go buy Flux.
Where?
Where? FluxUI.dev, baby.
Oh, amazing. Flawless execution. Great landing. That was
stuck
perfect.
the landing in the
You
mud.
sure did.
I got it.
FluxUI.dev.
If we want to do a couple questions, I don't know how long we plan on going. I got all day, but like,
as long as we're on here, I'm not dealing with this barrage of emails, so you'll have to stop
Yeah,
the show.
apparently discount codes are broken that you have to fix when you get off stream. So, we'll just stay on here forever.
We can.
Yeah, we're never getting off.
We're on.
This I thought was a good one. Producer Dave sent this over. People are asking what the best way to report bugs with Flux are. Do you want them in GitHub issues?
Just don't.
In the
Yeah,
free
just
repo?
don't.
That seems like maybe not there.
Yeah.
Caleb's hiding on the live stream like Justin TB here, so he's never fixing anything. But
so
I don't know if you came
actually
up with a
wrote
plan
this-
with that yet, or is it support?
Of course
or
not.
what?
I wrote down. I have the show, colon, and then I have questions that I thought we could talk about because I have a little agenda here, and it says fielding issues.
An hour and 40 minutes in,
requests.
Caleb reveals he has an agenda.
I have words.
All right,
I thought
fielding issues.
that like maybe this is something we could actually brainstorm and take from zero to hero because I haven't really thought that hard about it, and I need a way for people to submit bugs and whatever, and then I also need a way for people to say somebody's going to email me and say we need this to support whatever. I really want a bigger badge. And then 10 people are going to do that. And I'm going to have to say, yeah, I know. And where does it go? I would love a place that's like, just go upvote it here. Maybe I'll write them out. You upvote it. And then we know like I don't know. Okay. Well, that's why I'm asking. So hit me.
Well, this is the way we handle it. I don't know if it's the best way, but bugs, they just come in and we file them ourselves. There's no public place.
So it's support email is where they go.
Support email is bugs. And I do think this is obviously a little different, but at the same time, like just having them public and people can't really fix it anyway, or do you want them fixed? I don't know. It's like the public part isn't as beneficial as it is with like a live wire or whatever. And even there, I know you sometimes there's trouble with that at scale, right? So, and then feature requests,
I am a total jerk as well.
I'm on the DHH bandwagon of feature requests. We were just producer Dave was trying to get me.
Ian loves DHH now.
I cherry pick my DHH takes. He's still insane, right? But he has some okay takes, and one of them is you don't just log feature requests and you don't vote on them or any of that stuff.
Okay,
and you just let them wash over you.
Yeah.
And when you hear it enough, then that's when you go do it. Obviously, you have your own features you want to build, which you don't even necessarily need input on, but not this thing. Oh, there's 72 votes. And people are yelling at me. It's not built yet. No, like this is curated.
Yeah.
We will decide what goes in the product. And we are listening, and you should email us and we will listen, but it's not like a public thing. That's how we do it.
Yep. I think that's a good reminder. The DHH let stuff wash over you, like trash your whole, that whole backlog. Hit delete, like the important.
And
stuff's
sometimes you get
get
one that's
done
really
and
great, and it's great, and then you just put it right. You make an issue or however you manage your, you're in linear, whatever you do, and it's like I'm going to build this. That happens sometimes instantly. Something comes in and we just do it because it's like, oh shit, that's a great idea. And other times it's like, okay, like that's reasonable, but like just let it wash over. And if we hear it again and again, then
I think bugs are different though.
Bugs are different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before we get to bugs, feature requests, letting it wash over you, I think the solution for me that I needed before is like, I need to have a good reply or saved reply or something that I can send and not feel like I have to like really engage with this,
Yeah,
it's the
for
really
sure.
engaging thing that I always default
Feel
to
that. Yep.
that just turns your life into a hellscape of
Don't
support
engage.
Sure
and
does. Don't
communication, whatever. So I need like a canned response that's like,
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to let it wash over me right
Yeah.
now.
that's what you're gonna do.
Dear sir or madam, thank you for writing in.
Well, there's two things with that. One is
your
that,
request will go right into the bin. Just
you
so you know.
obviously have a thing that's like we're listening, and we always listen, and we
Oh, we
most of our
always
features,
listen.
Our
Definitely.
features are built from customer. Most of our features are built from customer feedback, which is
Mhm.
totally true, right? And so that's all
Yeah, yeah.
fine. So you definitely need a
Right.
save response for that.
Okay,
And then the second part
gotta
is
write this down.
some point soon, hopefully you're not the one answering those.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if you have a support person, then even if there is an engagement, like even if the
Yep.
person wants to talk about it more, like
They
they
can,
could
sure,
talk
yeah.
to them,
Mhm.
talk it through,
Yep.
and the support person can make sure you've heard it in whatever form you want to hear it in. And
Which is
that's
not to
great.
hear it at all. Yeah.
Right. Well, depending on what it is,
Yeah.
No, I just
But,
want it to
like-
wash over me. I just want to like
Yeah.
wake up and like Alexa or something will just be like modem.
Here's what we heard yesterday.
Yeah, like or whatever.
This is the
Gotcha.
other
Josh
nice...
can record that for you before he goes to bed because of the time zone offset. So
That's
he
not a
can
bad idea.
record all the feature votes, and then you could
Yes.
play it in the morning.
Another
And
nice
just-
part of it all being an email is that you don't have that pressure. It's like when it's public feature requests,
Yes,
if you
agreed.
don't engage with it, well, then you're an idiot, right? You're like,
Yeah.
why isn't Caleb himself talking to me? Or why isn't Caleb
Right.
putting more than a sentence into this, right? But if it's over email, it's fine. It's like, hey, I'm sending this feature request. You're like, great, got it. I'll think it over. And that's it. Like, it's a nice, clean interaction. Whereas if
Yeah.
it's a public thing,
See
people
ya
are
never.
complaining and, oh, it's 4 years ago, somebody posted about this
right.
and you never
Plus
built
one,
it.
plus one, plus one.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like, all that stuff doesn't help you. It's not doing anything for anybody. So
Yeah. Okay, so features settled. Issues,
there you go.
we pipe them through. Issues are tough.
Issues are
different.
tough.
Issues are tough. The one really nice
I think
thing-
Nova has a Nova issues repo that's just
for
for
issues.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we have the Livewire Flux repo, which is the natural place to have those things. I mean, people would be submitting. The only kind of question there is like you're submitting an issue on a component that's not in the public repo.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Like, right? It's a public place to talk
it's
about.
Totally
it.
fine.
It's
Totally
fine.
fine.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't
Yeah.
even think if somebody was like, hey, like, here's all my code and pasted it in and people could scrape it. It's like, whatever. At that point, just have it.
Yeah.
Have
I
that
think
one
that's fine.
cobbled
Yeah.
component.
I don't think that's a big deal.
I don't think
Um,
this is a good idea, but you could also build that into your app that you want people to continually visit all the time. Your back office app.
Mm.
Build what? Oh, the
Issues.
issues. Yeah. Yeah.
So like all the people that paid have access to like
Have
look at
a-
issues, talk about
little issue
issues.
board or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
that brings
true.
them back to that app. I don't think that's a good idea, but it is
Yeah.
an idea.
It's
I
an
mean, you could
idea.
just experiment with it not being public at all, and they email them in too. I think the only thing with your product being entirely just code, it is nice to have those tools to be like, I'm giving you the code that didn't work
Yeah.
and things like that. Rather than just saying this feature doesn't work,
Yeah.
which is a little bit different. But
Yep.
yeah, it's some
Um,
kind of private repo, private
so
board, private
let's just
something
do-
potentially.
For now, it's public repo issues
Can
for
always
bugs.
kill it if it doesn't
Yes.
work.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, I
So-
would love to
think
make
that's
it
right.
discussions, but
Oh right, isn't that what you do in Livewire?
I
Right?
know
Yeah,
how
but
much
for-
you love discussions.
the way I do discussions is like the community hammers it out, and then like the chosen
Right.
few submit pull requests, and then I put my brain on
Mm.
it. Where this is like a paid thing, I can't just let the community work it out. So
I agree.
maybe we just do issues, and like I try to if I find myself in a place where I'm feeling held hostage by issues that like I just have to don the like ruthless, brutal, just close it, whatever. If you're mad at me, it's
Gordon
fine. It's like,
Gekko.
I gotta like move on with
Capitalist.
life here.
Yeah.
Because and then if it's public, then I can always close duplicate stuff. But this is the kind of thing that I really, really hate. And this is where you have somebody else do it,
I think
Like,
you have somebody else do it. I think that's the answer.
Yeah. I mean, the dream is like somebody else deals with all that public facing stuff. And then they
Not the
silver
dream.
platter me, like here's an HTML
Yeah.
file that you can load on your
Impossible.
computer. see
You're
the
sitting in your
bug.
cabin in the woods and they
Yeah.
just bring you a plate full of issues and you just fix them.
Isn't it the easiest? Like, picture how much
That's the
you hate
dream.
issues and everything. Now
I'm
picture
picturing it.
picture a picture a browser
Yeah.
with the reproduction right there, and all your local stuff is all symlinked, and
Yep.
npm run watch
Mhm.
is already running. Now you're actually having fun. Now it's
This
like,
is your-
ooh, let's dig into
This
this.
is your
What's the
SaaS,
issue?
man.
You
This
know?
is your SaaS.
Hallelujah. I'll give you a
that says it.
hallelujah on that one. Hallelujah.
Just code
Hallelujah.
injecting into your local environment, whatever people post on GitHub. I love this idea.
It's a great idea. It's
Just
a great idea.
auto-
I get it.
just
I get
shows
it
up,
though.
it's just
I
injecting.
You know what I'm
don't. I
saying?
don't want to do. I don't want to do all the surrounding
Yeah, that
schlep
stuff's
work. I
terrible.
just want to be. I just want to be delivered the thing
Yeah.
and just do it. You
These
know.
are my office hours, you know? Like,
These
and
yeah.
I'm pairing with the person I pay to like curate all this stuff and make it all
Yep.
happen, whatever. Now we have our pairing office hours. So I have like this accountability on pair, on,
All
you know,
queued
they
up.
already know, they're familiar with the thing. And then we
Yep.
can just sit there, and I have somebody watching me, so I'll make better decisions, and I won't
Mhm.
just like punt on stuff. I'll solve stuff well. That's the move, is to get that sort of
That's the
rhythm.
move.
So how do I frame let's talk employment. How do I historically employ nobody. I pay contractors
Correct.
randomly for stuff, and I'm scared to death of like just blowing money into the ether on somebody that will make my life either harder or just do stuff that wouldn't have mattered if it wasn't done anyway, you know? And that, so yeah, that's always kind of been my big fear. But these things I'm describing, I would love to be tackled. But if I think about like 100,000-year dev salary to like sit on support and issues and stuff and pair with me, it just doesn't feel right, you know?
You did talk about this on Notes on Work, and I think you got to reframe this whole thing a little bit for yourself, because I don't think you're buying what you think you're buying. I think you're
Okay.
buying something different when you hire somebody. Then it's not always so tied to just like you're spent the money and now it's gone from you, or are they making you back the equivalent money you're spending on them times 2 or whatever. Especially for a small company, like you are buying your time, and that is valuable for all kinds of things besides just the business. Like you had a kid in the hospital, you powered through it, but you know what? Every day you get older, more stuff happens, you get more tired. Like you're buying other things. Like I'm gonna not have to be
like
here at all.
withering.
I can ignore work for a week and everything's totally fine. I'm not coming back to 500 emails, right? Like that has a lot of money, which of value, right? Which like, yeah, in the moment when you're hiring somebody, like, oh, is it worth it? But then you would, if I was like, oh, Caleb, like after you could spend 2 weeks just thinking about the kids in the hospital and all this stuff, and you could ignore everything, and when you came back, it would be fine. If I said that's going to cost, give me $20,000 right now and make that happen, you'd be like, well, I'll give you $20,000 because that's worth $20,000 to me, right? So like, that's a part of what you're buying, is this flexibility and mental stability and business continuity. And yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you should read that.
I flipped through it the other day. Adam was like, "You should buy this book," and I was
Yes,
like,
"Sensei."
Yeah,
yes, I will buy the book. It will be a great ornament.
What do
in
I
my
do
office.
next with the book? What do I do next?
Yeah.
How?
And there's just things, it's all bundled together. Does a support person literally make you money in a direct way? No. Do they actually make you lots of money? Yes.
Yeah,
because
right.
like
You're
if your
buying
support
time.
sucks,
That's a really good kind
then-
of fundamental awakening
Yes.
thing. That's like you're not necessarily like, to me, it's very much like an asset thing. It's like it's an investment thing. It's like this money needs to be deploying to make more money if I'm going to deploy it. Otherwise, I'll put it in the stock market and then it'll make more money there. And it feels like, yeah, but of course, that's not the whole equation, because plenty of work isn't like that. It's like, and even like I've had that outlook sort of like, of course I could be like, yeah, well, obviously a support person's not going to make you more money. It'll make your business better over the long run. But the thing that I really like about your framing is it's not even about like, well, you also have to burn money on stuff that doesn't make you money. It's part of the thing, and it props up the stuff that makes money. No, you're buying back your time because you're doing this anyway.
Right.
And your time's valuable.
Yes,
So
you're
that's
the
what you're
talent.
doing.
Yes.
Yes.
You're
And
the
just
talent.
life happens, and your business is going to greatly suffer. If something happens to you and you're out of commission, like your gallbladder attacks you and you're iffy for months, and then you go to surgery and all that stuff, like that's going to have a real impact on your business if you literally can't do anything or not much for months. And that could happen, right? Like stuff just happens. And at that point, when you're at that point, the other problem is, how do you hire somebody then? Like you don't feel like hiring anybody then. Like you're whatever. Maybe you can't hire anybody, or you just don't feel like it, or whatever. Whereas if the things are in motion and people are in place, then when you're working full steam ahead lots of stuff's getting done. But even if you're not, other stuff is still getting done.
Yeah.
Even right now, you have Josh answering those emails. You would have 600 emails
Thank
waiting
you,
for you
Josh.
if Josh
Good job,
wasn't
Josh.
answering those emails, right? So like
Go to
that
bed,
is
Josh.
making you
He's in
money
Australia.
and all that stuff. But yeah, it's all valuable. If people have to wait 4 days to hear from you, they're gonna be like, why am I paying this guy $500 a year?
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
so that's the other thing with justifying. You know, you have a big vision for this, even right where you want to have it be recurring and have teams and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And a big part of that, especially after the first year, is going to be support. And so having somebody who's doing that and making sure it's a good experience for people is super valuable.
So how do you? This is a hard part about this. That I think this is one of those. What are they called? Like a thought that is misleading or just a whatever. You'll tell me that I shouldn't even think this way.
Oh, a misleading thought. Yeah.
You son of a bitch. I was like, I figured you would have made a snarky comment sooner. Then I was like, oh, he actually knows the word, and then you got me.
Got him.
So I'm still trying to think of the dang word. Okay, hiring
Red herring?
somebody.
Is that it?
No, but
No? Shoot.
that, honestly,
that was
of like
close.
any of these situations, that's a good, it's like
Okay,
pink elephant.
we'll go with that.
Red
Close
herring,
enough,
color,
sure.
animal.
Red herring's real.
Red herring's real. So hiring somebody
White
for this
rabbit.
role, it's like ideally they're a capable developer. They know all the ins and outs of like all these things, and they're smart and they're good. Who wants to sit there and support and like triage issues if they have that level of knowledge? And then if I get
very
somebody to
hard.
do that because they love me, they want a little bit of the exposure, they want to have like a cool life and not have to have a real job like this, then they come to this, but then they're not going to love it long term, right? Like this isn't satisfying for that person if they're, so that to me is another kind of weird thing.
Counterpoint. The same, I've heard that same exact argument a long time ago from one Taylor Otwell. And then as it relates to Forge, I think. And then they found PHP Goose, who just like knows everything about all things servers and just loves working on support. And so those people do exist. I don't know where or how you find them, but just because you don't like it doesn't mean other people don't.
Yeah. That's a bad Caleb mindset. There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah,
most
that's
people
what the
out
word
there
is. Bad Caleb mindset.
Don't want to have all the pressure and responsibility you have. Like, and
Correct.
So, now the specifics of the job are a little bit different, but like, the thing you think is boring and would be horrible. A lot of people are like, you know what? I love this. 9 to 5. I show up, I punch my clock.
Yep.
I leave work and I literally don't think about it for 1 second. And then I come back and it's great. So like, that's what you have to realize.
That's what our Kelsey does. She just does stuff all day long and it's awesome.
That part of it. I do think it's hard what you're saying. I just did this exact thing like a couple years ago with our support person because we kind of need somebody who's like can go on somebody's server and fix some stuff.
Yeah.
But then also like just answer the feature request email. And so you get into like somebody with those skills, but also like somebody you probably can't really afford to pay like full on developer necessarily. So you're trying to balance that a little bit there. So yeah, that's a little trickier than just hiring a pure dev for sure, because it's like, they're probably not just like, I want to be in PHP all day and code. Like that person's not the right person for that job. But they're out there and you can find them, and maybe they're part-time and that gives people a different sort of flexibility. This is what I was saying the other day on Twitter. I was like, I'm glad these big companies are hiring, making people go back to work, because that's now a big feature for us little guys. Like, hey, work from home. Like, so yeah, we can't pay you as much in some ways, but you can work from home and Amazon wants you to go in or whoever. Right. So,
it's always the dream is always to like cobble together these roles as like reliable freelancer folks, because, if I had somebody doing 2 hours a day of like curating or whatever, but then that's what I always do.
I don't love
and
it though,
it never works. The relationships always peter out because the work isn't. It just
it's not big enough to keep them going.
Yeah,
it's not the commitment. They're not as invested. Like
it's not.
I mean, listen, we've hired at Userscape we had a lot of employees last like 10 years plus, and as a percentage, we haven't hired that many people overall. But of the 10 or 15 people I've ever hired, like a lot of them have stayed for years and years and years. And so like, I do think there's like a commitment. You're making a commitment to them. They're making a commitment to you. They can be fully invested. Like when they only work 2 hours, well, they're doing something else the other 6 hours. So like, they're not learning your product necessarily as completely. They're not thinking about it as much. So like, I just think at some point it's worth having that. There's a commitment level there that I think
We have
adds
Kelsey
a
half
lot to
time.
it.
We have her 20 hours a
Yeah.
week, indefinitely. Yeah.
So
So
I mean, so you could have phases there. So I mean, your stuff is kind of big that I would feel like you could probably get somebody between like now Flux and just regular
Right.
support, even on other
Yes.
BS from your other stuff. Like, I
yeah,
feel like there's enough, especially if you get somebody who's a developer and maybe they actually do some coding. Like maybe you get a real multi-tool type.
I think
right?
I
Like
kind of need. I mean, I don't know,
the
but
websites, all that
if
stuff.
I just like spring for an actual developer, I just feel like I'll be so much happier because so much of it is like developy stuff. You know, the
Yeah.
actual just like issue a refund, issue a discount. Like that's really easy and anybody can do that. But it's it's
as
like
long as you make
I would
it
love
clear
to
it's
be able
part
to
of their
say
job.
like, take this week and build out, you know, whatever. Like people are complaining that the licensing system is, you know, build out issuing new licenses, multi-license. So you have one license, but you can issue new keys and rotate keys. None of that's built, you know?
All right.
It's like take the week, build, test, I'll check it over, but this is your project. And then they can do that on top of, that's kind of what I feel like would be a good thing. But it's like, it also requires a lot of trust. I would want to know that it's somebody who can handle a chore list every morning.
Yeah,
And then
that's the dream.
big stuff at the end.
Right.
But I know myself, and it's like those, my fear is that I get in it with the new person's always going to be good, you know, but then over time it's like, I don't know. I
mean,
just,
there's a whole mechanism for dealing with that, which is then they don't work for you anymore if it ends up not being good, you know.
Yeah,
which
and
is that's the reality. This is the ugly part that we don't want to deal
Right.
with. And so, well, let's do it ourselves as long as we possibly can, right? But like,
mhm.
you know, that's the reality. Is
That's
if
the
they
reality
stop
of it.
working out, then they stop working out. But like, yeah, I think as long as you get the right, you're upfront in like the job description of your expectations that like this is not just you work on Caleb's cool projects only and there's no other stuff. No, like you should expect to have 2 hours every day where you're issuing refunds and you're helping people and you're logging a feature request and whatever. And then after that, you're gonna do some working on the website stuff. And then after that, there's gonna be some time where you're helping me with some code stuff or whatever.
Right.
Like, but it's gonna be all over. But every day there's gonna be, you know, tasks and management of systems that is not coding, and you just got to find that person that's into that.
Yep, I think I am with it. Limiting beliefs, I think is what I was looking for. By the way,
that one's right. Yeah.
There's I had another like stick to throw in these spokes that you'll tell me is wrong, but it's just transparently like another thing that holds me back from this stuff. And I don't remember it. Aaron's gonna love it. Aaron's gonna love that I don't remember it.
So much of this is just pulling off the band-aid. You pull off the band once you have an employee.
10 out of 10 execution. It's just perfect.
Gotta bring it home. Gotta close it. Yeah, I think I probably just need. Oh, no.
It was right there.
Oh. Employees. I don't know how to hire people. I don't know how to. It's like a live. Somebody here's what it is. I got it. Aaron, you're very excited.
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Hiring a person, you know, this is really specialized stuff. Some of it, you could argue it doesn't have to be, but it's like there's a very limited amount of people that know the Livewire core, the Alpine core, or even just know the tools well enough and are like good at this skill set and everything. And those people generally reveal themselves in the community. Like I could probably pull, and a handful of them are unhireable because they want to be independent. And then the other handful, there's other things, whatever. So there's a part of it that's like kind of attractive to me of like, you would put it out to the world, you do the whole hiring process, and now you have an opportunity to surface people who've been buried that are incredibly good, you know? But those people, I don't know. I'm just asking about that. Do you hire from inside? That's kind of the question. Do you go through all the pain and the whatever, and do you hire somebody who's incredible but doesn't like they're not in the Livewire? I don't know how Aaron feels
about this, but like with what you're saying, what we've talked about now, I would go out to the world because I think to me the key thing you actually really need is like all the other stuff. Like you're gonna have a lot of support email that has to be timely dealt with. You're gonna have bug fixes of back office systems and everything else. You're gonna have all this little stuff, and then you can. So if you hire somebody good and you just, you know, they're a good programmer and you know that they're okay doing these things, you can work backwards to the other parts. Like, okay, I'll train them on Livewire over 6 months. But like the thing I need help with tomorrow is not that they work on Livewire for me. It's that they do all this other stuff that I need help with. And I'd probably go from that perspective rather than like the person in the community who's like, oh man, I'm going to work on Livewire. This is awesome. And then you give them a bunch of stuff that's not Livewire. And then maybe they're not so excited about all the not Livewire stuff. That doesn't mean they're ineligible, right? Like I think they would apply and that you could have a discussion, right? But like, I don't think I would exclude or just like, I mean, the ultimate bootstrapper pitfall is like, I'm just hiring the people I know. And you know, listen, sometimes that works out for people, but a lot of times it's not the best because it's just like, you know, very limited field. How many people do you actually know who fit this role, you know, who are available? Like a handful. And so it's pretty limiting to go that route. And then
should you just hire an executive admin? Is that what you should really hire for?
I don't know.
Is that the bulk of the work?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because maybe the answer is yes, but can that person understand the domain in a way that is like useful? And you know what I'm saying? It's like, can that person like really go, you know, people really want this, but they're complaining that this part's holding them up in their install step. So, you know, if we change this about it, so in some ways it's an advantage because they don't have baggage and they're not going to like go down wrong trails. But in another way, I just feel like, I don't know. It would be an interesting constraint, but my gut is just like, oh, that'd be really weird.
But there's a thing. There's such a thing as tier 1 and tier 2 support, right? How much of it is tier 1? Like, I need a refund, or I need a VAT thing, or
and that stuff I don't care.
From
that
Europe,
stuff,
and I need
I
something.
could hire anybody and they could do it, and it's so not a big deal. Like that's why I don't like doing it myself. But that's the stuff that will buy back my time. That won't buy back my time. It's like the stuff that'll buy back my time is the like curate all these bugs into like HTML files or like reproducible stuff, get on a pair with me, walk me through it, and then I'll like
I love that you're using the book title having not read the book at all. You're like, oh, no, we gotta buy back my time.
I think you can,
in the words of Don Martin, you gotta buy back your time.
I think you might want to think about that.
There's one thing I learned from this book. It's buy back your time.
You know how you can buy back your time? Chuck a book out the window. They take me forever to read.
There is a really nice thing when you have see, this is kind of your first commercial software endeavor though, right? So there's going to be different expectations, right? And so like when you're not around or unavailable, knowing that there's somebody there to literally just respond is like 80% of the value. It's like every day somebody's responding to everybody. Whereas like if you're just unavailable or you're on vacation or whatever, like, and you have to do all that responding, and now it's a thing that's on your head because you know like people are paying you a good amount of money, and if you don't get back to them somewhat timely, blah blah blah. Yeah. So I do think that you could possibly play the game Aaron's talking about of like you have a much lower level person who's aggregating things, responding, and then you hire a software developer who's doing just pure software developer. Like
I think the really responding thing is like small enough potatoes. I think that it could just be lumped into the if we're talking a developer role,
probably
anyway,
the one person who does
quality
it all.
developer.
Yeah, if you can find the right dev,
it's quality.
Like I always like to hire the more entrepreneurial type devs generally.
Clearly,
because, like
they all left
because I have.
How's that working out for you?
You have no employees anymore.
What are you talking about? They all left. We're here, Eric and Chris. We're here 10 years. How long do you want people to work for you? Like,
and where are they now?
Where are they now? They only worked there a decade.
Ian, nothing obviously, nothing but respect for you.
Of course, nothing but respect.
Taylor's
nothing but respect.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Then nobody. Well, Eric didn't go to Taylor, and Chris didn't go directly to Taylor. So
no.
I don't know. Yeah, I think one person also is nicer because like you're just putting your toe in here, and like two people is twice as much of everything to kind of deal with.
That's true. That's twice as much.
That is kind of nice in that way.
Yep. All right. Well, good. I mean, so the next mostly technical will be on how to hire somebody and what to do
there
that,
we go. You could do that.
Hostile takeover.
What else is on your list there? You got any other stuff?
No, that's just the one thing. No, it's
Aaron's got his car's running. He's got to turn his car on. That's
funny. I mean, I don't know. I feel good. You guys probably got to pee. Should we, what do we think?
Launched? How we at? What's the final?
Yeah, give us a vibes wrap up.
All right. Well, first give you the number wrap up privately. Okay.
This is great. I love being part of a secret.
Yeah.
Did you send it? I didn't get it.
All
Oh,
right.
there we go.
It's looking good.
That's pretty good.
That's
I am
looking good. That's
for-
looking good.
hanging out on a
That's-
live stream with a couple fellas and just
Shooting the breeze.
grabbing and having that be the end number is pretty cool for me. So the vibes are good. Thank you everybody for being just the best community ever and supporting this whole little machine. This like this airplane that's all kind of glued together and is rickety. It's like taking flight a little bit because of, it's still got like bubble gum on it and everything, but we're trying our hardest. And so I don't know. And whatever. This is my acceptance speech. And thank you, Ian, for thank you, Aaron, and thank you everybody who's just the best. But so I feel good about it. Let's just do a numbers recap. We got 125 people on the fluxui.dev. So
that's great.
Yeah,
they're still on there.
They're still on there. It's slowing down. This is how the launch situation goes. Let's check it on the conversion, or the open rate is 21.7%. We went up a few percentage points.
That's good.
We're slowing.
Gotta do the resend. Do the resend to the people that didn't open tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah, really that quick?
I don't know. I feel like if the resend of you didn't open at all, like maybe. I don't know. Aaron's the guru.
No. Wait a little longer. I'm no guru, but wait longer than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Wednesday. Okay. Yeah, let me launch a thing, take care of it for 2 days, and then go to Rails World. And so those are the numbers. The errors still, like the whole thing is up. Okay, this is the value of this call right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
scaling up your droplet.
Yes.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna.
I'm not sure I would have done that very smart thing.
Yeah.
If not, for
I mean,
you guys
that's
being
the
like, you
theme,
idiot,
right?
Freaking scale.
Throw
it up
money at the problem. You can just throw money at it and the problem is solved. That's
what's my new mantra, Ian?
It's a
this is
write-off,
for
baby.
you. My new mantra is just do the thing. Here we go, Aaron. Get ready. Here comes
ready.
the trademark.
I'm so ready. Yeah, come on.
It's not gonna be punchy at all. Just like do the thing everybody else does.
Yes, right.
Just take
Great advice.
the cow path. Like, just do the thing that everybody else.
You said that already.
The server's acting wonky. I could go in
as the owner of the trademark.
I could go in and optimize the code, or I could just throw some money at it, and for $5, the problem is solved.
Buy the bigger server. Hire the employee. Don't customize the hiring process. Don't customize the role. Hire predictable roles. Make predictable products in predictable markets, and just do the things that are obvious to be done, and don't get clever.
Say the catchphrase again. Say the catchphrase again.
Do all the things. Don't do anything. Do everything. Do the thing that everybody does. Jump off the cliff when somebody else jumps off the cliff.
Yes.
The bridge. But for real, so much of this is
great
just like
catchphrase. That's
stop
really
inventing
good.
things, right?
It's just like you said the other day. You got to fish where the other boats are, right? Like that's the thing. Fish where the other boats are.
Fish
where
the other boats are. It's true. That's what it is. Just do the
do the thing.
Do the thing that everybody else does.
Here's the new tip.
Yeah.
Don't
You can just do the
things.
There you go. There you go.
Stop.
You can just do the thing everyone else does.
Yes. Don't invent. Don't worry about not invented here. Yes.
Stop inventing things. Just
Oh, it's good.
We
That's
don't all
a
have to be
message
Steve
of
Jobs.
hope,
We don't all have
hope
to
and
invent.
optimism. Stop
my nature
inventing
is
things.
to just like, oh, we'll rethink this. We'll do this different. It's gonna be so cool and it's gonna work. And like, oh yeah, No, it's like, do
just do the things.
I'm getting such a kick out of this. Oh my gosh, this is time to sign off, right? It's time.
Yeah, there's a whole interesting side path here that would be very interesting, but it's like
a whole interesting what?
A whole interesting path off this about like businesses and distribution and what you're actually buying and what you're actually selling. So I'll leave the viewer with that to think about. But there's a lot here about like what you're actually selling.
Part two.
Part two.
Bring us home, Caleb. Give us a one
Where
final
should they go?
pitch.
What should they buy?
I'm gonna wreck this.
I know.
But Flux is a UI component library for Livewire apps. It's accessible. It's robust. I thought about it really hard and worked on it a long time. And it's cool. And you'll be better looking. And it rhymes with the F word. And it's at fluxui.dev. Go buy today or else.
There you go. Successful
All right.
stream. Good job, team.
Thanks for coming
Yes.
on.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Later.
So long.
Thanks,
See ya.
everybody.
Thanks for being my adopted podcast.